Chapter 396. The heart was the most important part of the human body. It was also the most vulnerable part. Being poisoned to the heart was equivalent to taking half a step into the gates of hell. Qin Feiyong had had enough of the days of being on edge. Please, it must succeed. He prayed silently in his heart. When the energy of the healing pill poured into the heart, it wrapped around the heart. At the same time, the energy that was rushing to other places also seemed to have found a target and rushed to the heart. Qin Feiyong could clearly feel that the energy was quickly seeping into the heart. It was at this time. A sharp pain came from the heart and swept through the whole body in an instant. Caught off guard, Qin Feiyong lay on the ground, his face pale with pain and cold sweat. He felt that at this moment, there was a sharp thorn that was gradually being pulled out of his heart. That kind of pain almost suffocated him. And it was getting stronger and stronger. Qin Feiyong simply sat cross-legged on the ground, gritted his teeth, and looked inside his heart. Then, a head emerged from the black stream of qi from the heart. The black airflow was the poison of the black fiend. And the energy of the healing pill also gathered in the heart and constantly seeped inside. The poison of the black fiend was forced out little by little. Seeing this situation, Qin Feiyong couldn't help but be excited. This meant that it was really useful. Time passed by breath. About 100 breaths later. Puff! He spat out a mouthful of black blood. His pale face also quickly climbed up with a touch of blood. This meant that the poison of the black fiend was finally eliminated. The sharp pain also disappeared. Swish! He suddenly got up. His eyes were as bright as the moon. His whole mental state was unprecedentedly good. There was still more than half of the energy of the detoxification pill left, constantly seeping into the heart and eliminating the remaining poison in the heart. A moment later, all the toxins had finally been completely removed. I'm free. Qin Feiyong looked inside his heart and clenched his hands together. Haha, old witch, let's see how you can control me now? He couldn't help but laugh. The flame of heavenly thunder belonged to him. Wiping the blood from the corner of his mouth, Qin Feiyong opened the stone door and strode out. What are you doing inside? Why are you sweating? Mu Qing and her brother looked at him in confusion. Qin Feiyong smiled brilliantly. He walked up to the pagoda master's door and knocked. The stone door quickly opened. Qin Feiyong walked in and stood at the door of the cultivation room. He smiled and said, I've finally gotten rid of the problem in my heart. Senior, thank you. The pagoda master stared blankly and said in surprise, in that case, you can refine medicinal pills with 5 pill veins? Qin Feiyong nodded. The pagoda master was secretly speechless. This kid's alchemy talent was indeed extraordinary. Qin Feiyong's eyes flashed. He cupped his hands and said, Senior, this junior has a presumptuous request. The pagoda master said, Speak. Qin Feiyong smiled and said, The flame of heavenly thunder is famous throughout the world. I wonder if this junior has the honor of seeing its true appearance? The pagoda master thought for a moment and nodded. Sure. Qin Feiyong was stunned. So straightforward. The pagoda master continued, but the prerequisite is that you have to call this seat master. Qin Feiyong's face twitched. Calling master and having a chance to obtain the flame of heavenly thunder, this deal was also quite worth it. But for some reason, he just could not call out. Perhaps in his subconscious mind, no one was qualified to be his master. I can only think of other ways. Qin Feiyong muttered secretly. If there was really no other way, he would simply give up. Anyway, there was no black fiend poison bothering him now. It was also not a must to snatch the flame of heavenly thunder. Moreover, he already snatched enough pill fire now. As long as the blood contract was erased, it could let the Netherworld Devil Flame directly evolve to Grade 4. Although the Grade 4 Netherworld Devil Flame could not compare to the Flame of Heavenly Thunder, one had to know that the Netherworld Devil Flame could be upgraded. But the Flame of Heavenly Thunder could not be upgraded. Therefore, to really calculate, the value of the Netherworld Devil Flame was much higher than the Flame of Heavenly Thunder. Seeing Qin Feiyong's expression, the pagoda master could not help but frown, and said, You really don't want to be this seat's disciple? Qin Feiyong did not answer, cupped his hands and said, Senior, this junior will take his leave first. The pagoda master nodded. Qin Feiyong smiled faintly, turned around and walked towards the stone door. Wait. Suddenly, the pagoda master stopped him again. Qin Feiyong stopped, turned around, and said, "Senior, do you have any other instructions?" The pagoda master got up and said, "Forget it, I'll let you take a look and satisfy your curiosity." Qin Feiyong was taken aback, and said happily, "Thank you, senior." The pagoda master walked out of the cultivation room and went straight into the alchemy room. Qin Feiyong hurriedly followed in. This alchemy room was more than 200 meters in size. On the stone platform for alchemy, there was no pill furnace, not a speck of dust. It was enough to show that this woman did not often refine pills. Qin Feiyong looked around, and his gaze suddenly locked onto a corner on the left. In that corner, there was a tightly shut stone door. The pagoda master entered the alchemy room and directly walked to the front of the stone door, saying, "The heavenly thunder flame is inside." Qin Feiyong's eyes lit up. Buzz! The pagoda master's delicate body trembled, and a stream of battle chi emerged, condensing into a battle chi barrier. Next, she cut her arm, and with a wave of her arm, a drop of blood flew towards the stone door. When the blood landed on the stone door immediately bloomed with rays of light. Following closely, it was activated silently. A shocking heat wave immediately surged out. At the same time, there were also waves of purple flames that continued to surge out from the door. Despite the isolation of the battle chi barrier, Qin Feiyong could still feel an astonishing heat enveloping him. If not for the pagoda master's battle chi barrier, without any luck, he would have been burned to ashes in an instant. Whew! Taking a deep breath and calming down the shock in his heart, Qin Feiyong took a step to the side and looked inside. What entered his line of sight was a sea of purple flames. Tongues of fire spewed out, waves of fire surged. Strands of lightning power were like small snakes, darting around in the sea of fire. But because the flames were too strong, he couldn't see where the heavenly thunder flame was. If you want to see the true appearance of the heavenly thunder flame, you must first stop the recovery of the heavenly thunder flame. But not now. Right now, there are many people refining pills. If you suddenly stop the recovery, it will affect them. Wait until 2 years later, when everyone leaves the pill pagoda, I can let you see its true appearance. The pagoda master said. Junior understands. Qin Feiyong nodded. The pagoda master waved her hand, closed the stone door, and said indifferently, "Think about it again. If you become my disciple, there will be benefits for you. Junior will seriously consider it. By the way, Senior, can Junior go out for a while?" Qin Feiyong asked. Go out for what? The pagoda master looked at him suspiciously. Qin Feiyong laughed. Isn't this because the poison has been eradicated? I want to go out and celebrate. The pagoda master pondered for a moment, then said, It seems like you don't need my guidance, so do as you wish. Thank you, pagoda master. Qin Feiyong cupped his hands and said. Next. He did not stay any longer and returned to Alchemy Room 1. After closing the stone door, he immediately entered the castle. Fatso immediately asked, Boss, how is it? Is there a chance? Qin Feiyong pondered for a moment, then said, I have decided to give up on snatching the heavenly thunder flame. What? Fatso and the others looked at each other in dismay. 3 reasons. Firstly, that stone door requires the blood of the pagoda master to open. The pagoda master is an expert of the war master realm, and might even surpass the war master. It's simply unrealistic to obtain blood from her body. Secondly, the heavenly thunder flame is currently in a state of recovery. I've just experienced it myself. It's extremely terrifying. Even if we're lucky enough to obtain the pagoda master's blood and open the stone door, we won't be able to get close to the heavenly thunder flame. Thirdly, I can't afford to wait for 2 years. I'm already 18 years old, and I'll be 20 in 2 years. Before I turn 20, I must enter the imperial capital. Qin Feiyong said in a deep voice. Fatso, Lu Hong, Wolf King, and the pangolin all fell silent. A moment later, Lu Hong nodded. I agree with our current conditions, to snatch the heavenly thunder flame, it is indeed not mature. Fatso frowned. But how are we going to explain it to that old witch? Qin Feiyong said. We'll talk about it after we leave the Forgotten Land. All right, since we've already gotten a lot of benefits, let's leave then. Wolf King grinned. Fatso and Lu Hong also laughed. What are you laughing at? Qin Feiyong was puzzled. Boss, we've sorted out all the herbs. From the warehouse of the trading pavilion, Including the herbs of the Lu tribe and the He tribe, we've obtained a total of 330 sets of red fire glaze pill herbs. The ingredients for the potential pill: 210 sets. Potential pill herbs: 42 sets. 9 Chu yellow dragon pill herbs: 39 sets. As for the other medicinal herbs, pills, and gold coins, they had yet to be counted. If we include the third-grade alchemy fire of the 3 super tribes, it's even more amazing. The wealth we have now is probably enough to buy the entire spirit state. Fatso was beaming with joy, his saliva flying everywhere. So much. Qin Feiyong was dumbfounded. This was completely beyond his expectations. Thinking back to when he was in Iron Ox Town, a gold coin was a considerable amount of wealth for him. But how long has it been? 3 years. In just 3 years, the wealth he possessed was unparalleled. One had to know that he was only 18 years old now. When others were 18 years old, they were still reaching for their family. But he relied on his own hard work to accumulate such an astonishing foundation. Now, he had the capital to be proud. Wolf King rolled his eyes and said, "Little Qin Zi, since we can't get the flame of heavenly thunder, let's go crazy again before we leave." Qin Feiyong was stunned and asked how. Fatso, Lu Hong, and the pangolin also looked at it suspiciously. Wolf King said, "Loot the treasures of the 3 super tribes." Damn, isn't this too crazy? Fatso's eyes widened and he laughed loudly. But Fat Lord likes it, so it's decided happily. Qin Feiyong frowned. Wolf King said, "What? Are you afraid?" "I'm not afraid. I'm just thinking that the treasures of the 3 super tribes might not be as much as the warehouse of the trading pavilion," Qin Feiyong said. "How is that possible?" Wolf King rolled his eyes at him. Chapter 397. What do you mean? Wolf King asked. Although the strength of the Meng family is not as good as the 3 super tribes, the Meng family has an innate advantage. They dominate the area, and no one will compete with them. No matter who gets the medicinal herbs, they will eventually fall into the hands of the Meng family. Fatso explained. And here, in addition to the 3 super tribes, there were countless other tribes of various sizes. If each tribe divided a little, there would naturally not be many medicinal herbs. Of course, the resources in this area of Sky Thunder City were richer than those in White Fox City. It was also worth a risk. A super tribe can't compare. But the treasures of the 3 super tribes added together will definitely not be too bad. In a word, do you want to do it or not? Wolf King shouted in high spirits. Nonsense, of course we'll do it. Fatso roared. Lu Hong looked at Fatso and Wolf King, shook her head and smiled. Anyway, I can't help much, do as you like. This king doesn't care either. The pangolin followed. Now, only Qin Feiyong had not expressed his opinion. Everyone looked at him, waiting for his decision. Because only his words were useful. Qin Feiyong glanced at the 2 men and 2 beasts, made up his mind, and nodded. Okay, let's go crazy again. Fatso and Wolf King immediately cheered. Next, several people began to discuss. Soon, Qin Feiyong left the castle alone and walked into the alchemy room, staring at the moaning snake cauldron. Do you want to take it away or not? He hesitated. It's better not to anger the pagoda master, so as to avoid complications. Finally, he resolutely erased the blood contract of the moaning snake cauldron and turned to walk out of the alchemy room. First, he was a person who knew how to repay kindness. The pagoda master had saved him, so he could not do such a thing. Second, the pagoda master was too strong. If he angered her, he would definitely suffer. Qin Feiyong walked out of the alchemy room and walked towards the stairs. Brother Su, what are you doing? Seeing this, Mu Qing and her brother looked at him in confusion. I need to go out for a while, Qin Feiyong said without looking back. Then, he walked down the stairs. No matter what purpose Mu Qing and her sister had, it had nothing to do with him now. The Pill Pagoda had a total of 10 levels. Other than the top floor, the other 9 floors each had 10 alchemy rooms. Qin Feiyong arrived at the 9th floor. He glanced at the 10 stone doors and frowned. Were Luo Yi and the other 2 here? He pondered for a moment. He walked in front of a stone door and knocked on it forcefully. Very soon, the stone door opened. A strange face entered Qin Feiyong's sight. This person was about 18 or 19 years old and was about 1.7 meters tall. He looked very ordinary and had a black mole the size of a mung bean on his chin. Qin Feiyong had never seen him before. However, this person knew Qin Feiyong. When he saw Qin Feiyong come to his door, he was stunned for a moment before he was overjoyed. "Senior brother Su, why are you here? What's the matter? By the way, let me introduce myself. My name is Su Shan. I'm from the Su tribe. Please take care of me in the future. Senior brother Su." Su Shan was very excited, his saliva flying. The person in front of him was an alchemy monster with a level 20 spiritual force. He was also the last disciple of the pagoda master. He actually took the initiative to come to him? Was he going to be lucky? The Su tribe? Qin Feiyong was stunned. Why did it sound familiar? Right. Wasn't the second-grade alchemy fire that Wolf King and Fatso snatched from the Su tribe? It was really fate. His eyes flashed and he said with a smile, "Do you know where Luo Yi and the other two are?" Su Shan nodded and said, "I know, they're next door." Qin Feiyong said in surprise, "So, you're also a level 10 spiritual force?" Su Shan laughed dryly and said, "I don't have this talent. I'm only a level 9 spiritual force." "That's not bad." Qin Feiyong nodded and said with a faint smile, "Take me to them." Okay. Su Shan walked out of the alchemy room and knocked on the 3 stone doors one after another. Not long after, the stone doors opened one after another. Luo Yi, Shi Yun, and Yan Shi stood at the door respectively. When they saw Qin Feiyong, they couldn't help but frown. Luo Yi said angrily, "What are you doing here?" "To talk to you guys." Qin Feiyong smiled faintly, reached out and pushed Luo Yi away, and walked into Luo Yi's alchemy room. Luo Yi raised his eyebrows and shouted, "This is my alchemy room. What right do you have to barge in? Get out of here immediately." Qin Feiyong said lightly, "You should know my current identity. I can make you get out of the Pill Pagoda with one word." Luo Yi's gaze trembled. Yes. This person was now the last disciple of the pagoda master. He couldn't afford to offend him. Qin Feiyong said with a faint smile, "Come in, I have something to say." Su Shan was the first to run in. Yan Shi and Shi Yun looked at each other, frowned slightly, and also walked into the alchemy room. Qin Feiyong turned to look at the 4 of them and said, "Close the stone door." Shi Yun waved his hand, and the stone door quickly closed. Then, with a puff, he opened his folding fan, waved it slowly, and said with a smile, "I wonder what Brother Su has to teach me?" "I don't dare to teach you. I just want to ask Luo Yi and Yan Shi. Did you kneel and crawl 3 laps on the square? Did you bark like a dog?" Qin Feiyong said lightly. Luo Yi and Shi Yun's bodies stiffened. Su Shan looked at the 2 of them and hurriedly said, "Senior brother Su, they didn't crawl." "Presumptuous. Do you have the right to speak here?" Luo Yi and Shi Yun shouted angrily, killing intent flashing in their eyes. Su Shan's neck shrank, and there was a trace of fear on his face. Qin Feiyong said with a faint smile, "This is your fault. What I hate the most is people who have no integrity. Brother Su, where it's possible to let people off, let them off. Why be so calculative?" Shi Yun laughed. Qin Feiyong turned to look at him and said with a smile, "Do you know what kind of people I hate? It's people like you who hide a knife behind a smile." The smile on Shi Yun's face froze. Qin Feiyong glanced at Shi Yun with disdain, then glanced at the 4 of them and said, "I'm too lazy to talk nonsense with you. Tell me, where are the treasures of your tribe?" The 4 of them were stunned. Su Shan said in surprise, "Senior brother Su, did I hear wrongly?" Qin Feiyong said, "You didn't hear wrongly. I want to know the exact location of your tribe's treasures. Only by knowing the location would it be easier to make a move. If they were to look everywhere, not only would it be a waste of time, it would also be more dangerous." Shi Yun frowned. "Su Ping, what do you mean? Do you want to rob the treasures of our 4 tribes?" "You are really smart." Qin Feiyong laughed. The 4 of them were instantly enraged. "I really admire you. Not only are you talented in alchemy, your guts are also unparalleled." Shi Yun sneered and there was a hint of sarcasm in his words. "Thank you." Qin Feiyong smiled faintly and said, "Can you say it now?" "Dream on. I still have to refine pills." Forgive me for not accompanying you. Xueqi said coldly and turned to open the door to leave. Do you think you can still walk out after entering this door? Qin Feiyong smiled coldly and waved his hand. Instantly, the four of them felt dizzy. The next moment, they appeared in an extremely unfamiliar place. There was a white wolf, a pangolin, a round fatso, and a beautiful woman. Where is this? Xueqi and the other two were bewildered. Su Shan looked around. When he saw the fatso and wolf king, his eyes were filled with rage. It's you guys. I recognize you. You are the thieves who stole my tribe's alchemy fire. Hearing Su Shan's shout, Xueqi and the other two also looked at the fatso and wolf king in surprise. They were exactly the same as the portraits on the wanted posters. Could it be? They abruptly turned around and looked at Qin Feiyong. Their faces were filled with disbelief. Qin Feiyong said lightly, Yes, I am the Qin Feiyong you are looking for. Damn it! It's you! Give us back our alchemy fire. Luo Yi, Su Shan, and Yen Shi shouted one after another. However, after Xueqi learned of Qin Feiyong's true identity, not only was he not angry, but he looked at Qin Feiyong curiously. He smiled faintly and said, Not only did you deceive all of us, but you also deceived the pagoda master. Brother Qin, you are really unfathomable. Qin Feiyong was stunned. This person's reaction was too unexpected. Shouldn't he hate him as much as Luo Yi and the other two? Xueqi, is there something wrong with your brain? He stole our alchemy fire, and you are still so friendly. What do you mean? Luo Yi and Yen Shi shouted. Don't get it wrong. Your tribe's alchemy fire was stolen by him. My Purple Sun tribe's alchemy fire was won by him. There is a good saying, if you agree to bet, you must be willing to lose. My Purple Sun tribe can still afford to lose. Xueqi smiled faintly. Qin Feiyong was surprised. The Purple Sun tribe's style of doing things made him look at them in a new light. Spineless. Spineless. Luo Yi and Yen Shi cursed. As for Su Shan, the Su tribe's strength was not as strong as the Purple Sun tribe, so he did not dare to curse Xueqi wantonly like Luo Yi and Yen Shi. However, there was a trace of disdain in his eyes. Brother Qin, before coming to Sky Thunder City, my father told me to say hello to you if I meet you. Xueqi smiled. Qin Feiyong said, You really don't hate me at all? No. On the contrary, I want to sincerely invite you. Brother Qin, are you willing to join our Purple Sun tribe? If you are willing, you can be the high priest of the Purple Sun tribe. Xueqi smiled. Qin Feiyong was stunned. Fatso and the others also looked at each other. Luo Yi, Yen Shi, and Su Shan looked at each other with extremely gloomy eyes. The Purple Sun tribe really had a good plan. Qin Feiyong's talent in alchemy and martial arts was rare. Moreover, he was the last disciple of the pagoda master. His future was limitless. If he joined the Purple Sun tribe, the Purple Sun tribe would definitely rise to a higher level because of him. At that time, even the Ming King tribe and the Black Tortoise tribe would be trampled underfoot, unable to make a comeback. This kind of thing was absolutely not allowed. Luo Yi's eyes trembled as he said, Brother Qin, I also sincerely invite you to be the high priest of the Ming King tribe. Yen Shi added, The Black Tortoise tribe also invites you. Although they had a grudge against Qin Feiyong, they could only compromise for the tribe's interests. Xueqi raised his eyebrows subtly. These two really knew how to join in the fun. Su Shan glanced at the three of them, his eyes flickering. He also wanted to take the opportunity to pull Qin Feiyong into the Su tribe. However, compared to the three super tribes, the Su tribe had no advantage at all. Senior Brother Qin, if you are willing to join the Su tribe, I will go back and advise Father to give you the position of chief. Su Shan gritted his teeth and said in a deep voice. He couldn't find any other conditions that could move Qin Feiyong, so this was the only thing he could think of. Everyone looked at him in shock. Even giving up the position of chief, was there a mistake? Was this guy crazy? Qin Feiyong glanced at the four of them and said jokingly, After hearing what you said, I feel a little embarrassed to kill you. What? He's planning to kill us. The four of them trembled. Chapter 398. I'm not interested in the high priest or the leader. If you're really sincere, Then tell me the location of the treasure. Qin Feiyong said lightly. Shi Yun immediately shook his head and said, Impossible, please don't force me. Then there's no other way. White-eyed wolf Fatso, take good care of them. After saying that, Qin Feiyong flashed and appeared in the alchemy room. However, when he opened the stone door, he saw a man and a woman standing in the hall outside. It was Mu Qing and Mu Xueqi. Qin Feiyong raised his eyebrows and walked out of the alchemy room. He closed the door and said, Why did you come down? Mu Qing smiled and said, Nothing, we were just bored and strolled around. Strolled around? Qin Feiyong sneered secretly. Even an idiot could tell that the two of them were spying on him. He took a step forward and landed in front of the brother and sister. He whispered, You'd better not meddle in my affairs. Don't think that only you are smart and others are fools. The brother and sister's expressions froze. Qin Feiyong coldly glanced at the two of them, then took out a teleportation gate. But what surprised him was that he couldn't open the portal. How could this be? Qin Feiyong frowned and glanced at Mu Qing and her sister. He put away the portal and quickly walked to the bottom floor of the Pill Pagoda. The brother and sister looked at each other, their expressions a little frightened. This person was usually amiable, but when he really turned hostile, it was a little scary. A moment later, Qin Feiyong came to the bottom floor of the Pill Pagoda, and immediately saw the city lord sitting cross-legged in the middle of the hall with his eyes closed. Sensing the movement, the city lord opened his eyes and said in surprise, Why did you come down? Qin Feiyong cupped his hands and said, I want to go out for a while. Go out? The city lord was stunned and asked, Have you told the pagoda master? Qin Feiyong nodded. Then don't mess around outside. The city lord instructed before taking out a palm-sized jade bottle. Inside the jade bottle was a red liquid. The smell of blood wafted out. Blood? Qin Feiyong was surprised. The city lord poured out a drop of blood and waved his hand. The drop of blood flew through the air and landed on the tower door. Boom! Immediately, with a loud bang, the tower door opened quickly. In the meantime, the city lord put away the jade bottle and looked at Qin Feiyong. Come back quickly. Yes. Qin Feiyong nodded and his eyes flashed. He turned around and strode out of the pill tower. If he didn't guess wrong, it was definitely the tower master's blood. Boom! The door of the pagoda also closed. Qin Feiyong landed on the square and looked back at the pill tower. There was no way to open the portal? Furthermore, the tower master's blood was required to open the tower gate. Could it be that this ancient pagoda was the same as the ancient castle, a spatial divine object? If that was the case, then the pagoda master's identity would not be simple. But all of this had nothing to do with him. Farewell to Sky Thunder City. Glancing at the huge city, Qin Feiyong waved his hand and opened the portal. He turned around and walked in. The next moment, he appeared on a snowy ridge. Not far below, there was a super large tribe. It was the Black Tortoise tribe. Heavy snow swirled and the cold wind was bone-chilling. Glancing at the Black Tortoise tribe, Qin Feiyong entered the castle. A series of wails suddenly came into his ears. He saw Luo Yi and the other three lying on the ground. Their skin and flesh were lacerated and their faces were beyond recognition. Blood kept flowing out. The small castle was filled with a pungent smell of blood. At the same time, there was also the smell of urine. Without a doubt, these four people must have tasted Wolf King's holy water. Wolf King and Fatso stood at the side, their eyes full of ridicule. Qin Feiyong looked at them and asked, Have you explained it? Fatso smiled and said, with Fat Lord and Brother Wolf, Isn't it a piece of cake? Good. White-eyed Wolf, come out with me. Fatty, keep an eye on them. Also, confiscate their image crystals. Qin Feiyong ordered. Fatso laughed and directly took away the four people's Chenkuan bag. At the same time, Qin Feiyong also took out an illusory form pill and turned into Yen Shi's appearance. You bastard! Seeing this, Yen Shi immediately roared. You still have the strength to curse? Fatso raised his eyebrows and threw the 4 Chenkuan bag to Lu Hong. He went up and gave him a good beating. Qin Feiyong glanced at Yen Shi coldly. He took Yen Shi's Chenkuan bag from Lu Hong, took out a black leopard skin trench coat and put it on his body. Then, he took Wolf King and left the castle. Hide. Don't show up without my permission. Qin Feiyang said. Don't worry about me. Wolf King chuckled, got into the leather trench coat and hid. Qin Feiyang took a deep breath, jumped down, and ran down. Soon, he came to the gate of the Black Tortoise tribe. Young master, aren't you in the Pill Pagoda? Why are you back? Did you do something wrong and get kicked out? The two burly men guarding the door asked in surprise when they saw him. Little Qin Zi, according to Yen Shi, you usually look very cold when facing so many clansmen. Wolf King said telepathically. Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed, looked at the two big men and said coldly, Do you need to ask about my business? He glared at the two of them fiercely and walked straight into the tribe. Wherever he passed, people would run up to him to ask. Qin Feiyang kept a straight face. After a while, he came to the wooden building in the center, and without knocking on the door, he directly barged in. The leader of the Black Tortoise tribe was having sex with two women. The scene was extremely erotic. The leader of the Black Tortoise tribe was slightly stunned when he saw his son suddenly running back. But he didn't ask much, and continued to crazily pluck the two women. Qin Feiyang looked at him in disgust and said to himself, White-eyed wolf, where is the mechanism? Wolf King said, There is a bookshelf in the left corner. Do you see it? Qin Feiyang looked to the left. In the corner, there was indeed a wooden bookshelf, with all kinds of books neatly placed on it. He strode toward the bookshelf. The mechanism is behind the book in the third column on the left. There is a black button. Just press it. At the same time, Wolf King secretly transmitted. Qin Feiyang walked to the bookshelf, glanced at it, and directly took out the book in the third column. There was indeed a black button inside. At this time, the leader of the Black Tortoise tribe looked up at him and frowned. Brat, what are you doing? Qin Feiyang ignored him and pressed the button. With a crack, the ground suddenly split open, revealing a secret passage. He turned and walked to the front of the secret passage, looked at the leader of the Black Tortoise tribe, and coldly snorted, It's best to control yourself, otherwise you will exhaust yourself to death on women sooner or later. With that he walked in. Bastard brat. How dare you curse your father? The leader of the Black Tortoise tribe said angrily. Then he lowered his head to look at the two women below him and said with a lewd smile, I'd like to see if you two little girls can exhaust me to death. A great battle of flesh and blood began again. The entire room was filled with the sound of her tender moans. Inside the secret passage, Qin Feiyang stood inside, looking ahead, his eyes flickering. In front of him was a passage about 10 meters long, and at the end, there was a stone door. Wolf King came out of the windbreaker and stood on Qin Feiyang's shoulder, and said, What are you standing here for? Hurry up and move. Qin Feiyang frowned. I remember that the white-haired old woman came out from here last time. Could she be inside now? Are you an idiot, without the alchemy fire? What is she doing here? Wolf King rolled his eyes at him. Qin Feiyang was stunned, then nodded with a smile. That's true. In the past, the white-haired old woman was here because of the alchemy fire and alchemy furnace. Because all the treasures were here, it was convenient to refine pills here. He quickly walked over and pushed open the stone door. A secret room of about 10 feet immediately entered his sight. Wooden shelves were neatly placed all around. On the wooden shelves, there were a large number of Xueqi bags. On the right, there was another door. Qin Feiyang walked over to take a look. It turned out to be an alchemy room. He looked around again, and after confirming that the white-haired old woman was not here, he began to frantically sweep through. In less than 10 breaths, the entire secret room was swept clean. Then, he took out a disguise pill and changed into Luo Yi's appearance. Then, he opened a teleportation door and headed directly to the Ming Wang tribe. In the wooden building in the middle, Luo Guang looked at the son in front of him and frowned. Why did you suddenly run back? Did you get into trouble again? But he did not know that the person in front of him was not his son at all. Qin Feiyang hurriedly said, No, this child needs a few medicinal ingredients. Once I get them, this child will immediately return to the Pill Pagoda. Is that so? Luo Guang frowned. Qin Feiyang said in panic, This child doesn't dare to lie. At this time, Luo Guang's expression eased up a lot, and said, Go get it yourself, work hard, don't be beaten by Shi Yun and Yen Shi. This child will definitely work hard. Qin Feiyang nodded. With Wolf King's secret help, he successfully entered the treasure vault. Seeing that the high priest was not around, the man and wolf quickly looted all the treasures of the Ming Wang battle clan. Next, Qin Feiyong did not go out again. He changed his appearance into Su Shan's and used the same method to loot the Su tribe's treasures. Finally, he once again changed into Shi Yun's appearance and appeared at the peak of a snowy mountain. The entire process took less than a few hundred breaths. It's too easy to loot the treasures of the three great tribes without any effort. Wolf King chuckled. Qin Feiyong held a folding fan in his hand and shook his head. It won't be too late to be happy after we loot the Ziyang tribe. Wolf King said indifferently. It will definitely go smoothly. I hope so. Qin Feiyong muttered. He opened a teleportation gate and directly descended in front of the wooden building in the center of the Ziyang tribe. Next, he pushed the door open and entered. The leader and the high priest were sitting in front of the bonfire, as if they were discussing something. Seeing Shi Yun suddenly return, the two of them were startled. The middle-aged man stood up and asked doubtfully, Yun, what are you doing back here? Qin Feiyong laughed. I need a few precious medicinal ingredients, so I came back to take a look. Is there any in the warehouse? So it's like that. The two of them nodded in realization. The high priest asked, Yun, do you have any news about Qin Feiyong? No. Qin Feiyong shook his head. Where is this little guy hiding? Chapter 399. Qin Feiyong laughed. This matter is not urgent. He will appear sooner or later. The middle-aged man nodded and said, Yun is right. Haste makes waste. Let's wait slowly. The high priest smiled and asked, What medicinal herbs do you need? I'll go get them for you. I'd better go by myself. You guys continue chatting. Qin Feiyong smiled faintly. He walked to the front of a wall with ease. On the wall, there was a landscape painting. Qin Feiyong lifted the landscape painting, and a secret compartment immediately entered his line of sight. Inside the secret compartment, there was a palm-sized jade lion. Qin Feiyong grabbed the jade lion and turned it with force. The ground beside him split open, revealing a secret door. Following that, he walked down openly. The leader and the high priest did not suspect anything. Below the secret door was also a passage. There was a stone door more than 10 meters away. Qin Feiyong walked over excitedly. At the same time, the black tortoise commander who was lying on top of the two women let out a low growl. He was finally done. Awesome. He let out a long breath and looked at the secret door on the ground. He frowned and said, Why hasn't this brat come out yet? He definitely doesn't want to disturb us, so he directly used the teleportation gate to leave. A woman said sweetly, If only that brat was so sensible. I'll go take a look. The black tortoise commander snorted coldly, got up and put on his clothes before striding into the secret passage. However, when he entered the treasure vault, he was dumbfounded on the spot. Where was the Xueqi bag? Where was the treasure? Bastard, I won't forgive you. With a furious roar, he opened a teleportation gate and walked in. Luo Guang of the Ming King tribe and the leader of the Su tribe also discovered that the treasure vault was empty. And just like the Black Tortoise commander, they immediately opened the teleportation gate and headed to the Sky Thunder City. And then there was Qin Feiyong. He came to the stone door and pushed it open. This was also a secret room that was more than 100 feet long. One by one, the Xueqi bags were neatly stacked in the secret room. Wolf King smiled proudly. Brother, what do you think? Did it go smoothly? Take these treasures and we can leave. Qin Feiyong's eyes flashed. With a flick of his sleeve, a large pile of Xueqi bags disappeared without a trace. Wolf King suddenly said, Little Qin Zi, have you thought about how we're going to leave? I've made up my mind. Let's go to the glacier near the Lu tribe first. Qin Feiyong nodded. When they entered the Forgotten Land, they arrived at the glacier over there. The only way to get out of here was in the glacier. Yun, have you found it? I'll help you look for it. But at this moment, a faint laugh rang out. Oh no! Qin Feiyong was shocked. He quickly turned around and saw that the high priest of the Ziyang tribe had also entered the secret door. He smiled calmly and said, There's no need to help. I've already found it. I'll be out soon. The high priest said, I happen to need some battle chi pills as well. Hurry up, Wolf King urged. I know, Qin Feiyong replied secretly. With a wave of his hand, all the Qianquan bags in front of him disappeared in an instant. He turned around and took a step forward to take away the Qianquan bags on the other side. At this moment, the high priest had already entered the passage. As she walked towards the secret room, she looked inside the secret room. When they entered the secret room before, Qin Feiyong did not close the door. He did not expect that the high priest would break in at this time. So, the high priest saw at a glance that all the Qianquan bags were gone. Yun, what are you doing? She frowned, took a step forward, and landed in front of the door of the secret room. She immediately saw that Qin Feiyong opened a portal and was about to walk into it. Wait. The high priest raised her eyebrows. She pointed her finger in the air, and a battle chi blasted on the portal like lightning. Boom! With a loud bang, the portal shattered on the spot. Qin Feiyong was also sent flying. Wolf King, who was hiding in his windbreaker, also fell out. When the high priest saw Wolf King, a trace of surprise appeared in her eyes. She asked, Yun, when did you have a wolf by your side? You still don't recognize it? Qin Feiyong's heart skipped a beat. He smiled and said, I met it in Sky Thunder City. Seeing that it was a little pitiful, I took it in. Then tell me, what do you want to do with all the Qianquan bags? This is all the savings of our tribe. If you want to take it away, you have to discuss it with us first. Tell me, did you cause some great trouble in the Sky Thunder City? The high priest walked into the secret room and questioned. Qin Feiyong was about to speak. At this moment, the middle-aged man also entered the secret door and asked, What happened? Why did you cause such a big commotion? The high priest said, Yun took away all the treasures. What? When the middle-aged man heard this, he turned into a ray of light and landed in the secret room. Sweeping his gaze across the empty secret room, he immediately frowned and looked at Qin Feiyong. What are you doing? What should we do now? Qin Feiyong was burning with anxiety, and said, But at this moment, the middle-aged man noticed Wolf King again, and a trace of surprise appeared in his eyes. Why does it look a little familiar? Qin Feiyong's heart trembled. Familiar. The high priest looked at Wolf King again, his eyes filled with thought. The man and Wolf could not help but become nervous. The middle-aged man suddenly said, I remember now, it's the wolf on the wanted poster. Yes, that's it. The high priest's eyes lit up and said, Yun isn't it Qin Feiyong's companion? Why would it be with you? That's not right. The middle-aged man sized up the sun in front of him, and his eyelids suddenly twitched. Yun, do you remember when I became the leader of the tribe? The middle-aged man asked. Obviously, he was already suspecting Qin Feiyong's identity. It seems that I can't hide it anymore. Qin Feiyong glanced at the two of them, and simply took out a facial restoration elixir to restore his true appearance. It's really you. The middle-aged man's eyes trembled. How dare you pretend to be Yun and come to rob the treasure house of our Purple Sun tribe? Qin Feiyong, how dare you? The high priest shouted angrily. The treasure has already entered our pockets. What's the point of saying this? How about this? Brother and little Qin Zi will join your Purple Sun tribe, and these treasures will belong to us. How about that? Wolf King laughed sinisterly. In your dreams. The two of them shouted at the same time. Qin Feiyong asked, Then what do you want? I thought you were a talent, so I wanted you to join the tribe. I even planned to let you be the high priest. But I didn't expect you to rob our treasure house. You want to write it off? Sure. But you have to hand over the treasure and swear that you will always be loyal to our Purple Sun tribe. No way. The middle-aged man shouted, and his eyes were as gloomy as water. Qin Feiyong sneered. Do you think it's possible? You won't cry until you're in the coffin. The middle-aged man immediately turned hostile. A terrifying oppressive aura surged, pressing down on the man and the wolf. But at this moment, another wave of pressure descended upon him. Several figures broke through the air and entered the secret chamber one after another. The leader was the city lord of Sky Thunder City. Next was Luo Guang, the leader of the Black Tortoise tribe and the leader of the Sioux tribe. In addition to these four people, there were two more people. They were Mu Qing and her sister. Little Qin Zi, retreat. Wolf King shouted secretly. Don't worry. Qin Feiyong muttered. The middle-aged man and the high priest looked at each other and frowned slightly. Why were they all here? You're really here. I was wondering who had the guts to rob the treasures of our 3 tribes. So it's you, you little bastard. City Lord, now that we've caught him red-handed, please uphold justice for us. Luo Guang and the other 2 glared at Qin Feiyong and Wolf King, and their eyes flashed with shocking murderous intent. What? The middle-aged man and the high priest were stunned. Before coming to the Purple Sun tribe, this man and wolf had already robbed the treasures of the Black Tortoise tribe, Ming Wang tribe, and Su tribe? Were these 2 guys crazy? They were really not afraid of trouble at all. The city lord glanced at the empty treasure house and looked at Qin Feiyong, asking, You're Su Mu, and also Qin Feiyong? Qin Feiyong nodded. The city lord frowned and said again, Were you the one who robbed the treasures of the 3 tribes? Qin Feiyong nodded again. The city lord's brows were now tightly knitted as he said, Then why are you in the Purple Sun tribe now? City lord, look at the treasure house. There's not even a single gold coin. Isn't it obvious? Luo Guang said angrily. That's right, we don't even need to ask to know that he has already taken away the treasures of the Purple Sun tribe. They've already lost their minds and must be eliminated. The leaders of the Black Tortoise and Su tribe said coldly. All of you shut up. The city lord roared and a shocking aura spread out invisibly. Everyone's pupils constricted and they fell silent. The city lord looked at Qin Feiyong and said, I want you to answer me personally. They're right. Qin Feiyong nodded. The city lord clenched his hands and asked, Mu Qing told me that before you left the Pill Pagoda, you went to find Yun and the other 3? Qin Feiyong's eyes narrowed and he turned to Mu Qing and her sister. He said, I've told you don't meddle in my business. I don't want to meddle in it either, but I have no choice. Not long ago, the 3 leaders came to the Pill Pagoda in person to find the city lord, but they found that Yun and the other 3 were missing. Since the city lord came to ask me and my sister, how could we dare to hide anything? We could only tell the truth. Brother Qin, you're really amazing. First you took away the alchemy fire of the 4 tribes, and now you took away their treasures. I, Mu Qing, have never admired anyone. You're the first. Mu Qing said with a faint smile. Qin Feiyong said, Then how did you know that I was in the Purple Sun tribe? It's very simple. Yun is among the missing people. Yun is the young master of the Purple Sun tribe. You definitely wouldn't let go of the treasures of the Purple Sun tribe. So we rushed over immediately. As I expected, you're here. Mu Qing spoke frankly with a confident smile on his face. Amazing. Qin Feiyong gave him a thumbs up. Mu Qing smiled and said, You're flattering me. I'm just trying my best. Qin Dage, turn back quickly. With your talent, you'll definitely become an overlord in the future. Why ruin a good future for a moment of greed? Before we left, the pagoda master also told us, as long as you're willing to admit your mistakes, she'll let bygones be bygones. Chapter 400. Turn back. Qin Feiyong sneered. He had never dared to underestimate this pair of brother and sister. But now, he found that he still underestimated them. The city lord said in a deep voice, Where are Qin Feiyong, Yun and the others now? Qin Feiyong said, In my hands. Well, I won't say much nonsense. Let them go, return the treasure, and this matter will be over. You will still be the last disciple of the pagoda master. Otherwise, you can't escape today. The opportunity has been given to you. Cherish it. The city lord said. Opportunities are not given by others. Qin Feiyong shook his head. Stubborn. Luo Guang smiled coldly, and his pressure roared out, imprisoning Qin Feiyong and Wolf King. Qin Feiyong was about to enter the castle, but suddenly his eyes lit up. If it were someone else, facing the city lord and the 4 leaders at this moment, they would definitely panic. But Qin Feiyong found an opportunity at this critical moment. It was the opportunity for Wolf King to open the 4th level of the Gate of Potential. His eyes flashed, and he disappeared without a trace in an instant. Damn it! Little Qin Zi, you bastard! How dare you leave me alone? The Wolf King's eyes widened as it roared furiously. Where is he? At the same time, Mu Qing, his sister, and the City Lord had a trace of surprise in their eyes. City Lord, there is something you don't know. This Qin Feiyong can not only disappear into thin air, but also appear out of thin air. Last time when he went to my Black Tortoise tribe to snatch the elixir fire, he used this to escape. The Black Tortoise leader said. A trace of shock suddenly appeared on the City Lord's face. Mu Qing and his sister looked at each other in disbelief. They didn't expect this person to have such an ability. The next moment, Qin Feiyong appeared again. Where did you go just now? Tell me the truth. Luo Guang shouted. Is it related to you? All you need to know is that your pressure is useless against me. Qin Feiyong sneered. Suddenly, he looked at the passage behind them and asked in surprise, Tower Master, why are you here? What? Tower Master. Everyone was shocked and quickly turned their heads to look. Open your mouth. In the meantime, Qin Feiyong transmitted his voice to Wolf King. Wolf King was stunned and opened his mouth suspiciously. With a wave of Qin Feiyong's hand, the potential pill flew into Wolf King's mouth at lightning speed. This is... Immediately, Wolf King's spirits were lifted. It turned out that Qin Feiyong was not running away alone. He was looking for an opportunity to open the 4th level of the Gate of Potential. In the blink of an eye. All this happened in the blink of an eye. Where's the Tower Master? Why is there no one here? Seeing that there was no one behind them, the City Lord and the others raised their eyebrows. Not good. We were fooled by him. Mu Qing shouted. They hurriedly turned back. However, seeing that the man and the wolf did not take the opportunity to escape, they could not help but be stunned. What the hell was this guy doing? Ow! All of a sudden, Wolf King howled. The energy of the potential pill began to take effect. Didn't you say that my pressure is useless against you? Seeing this, Luo Guang sneered. Your pressure can only deal with this wolf cub. Qin Feiyong smiled disdainfully. What a joke! Luo Guang laughed in anger. Bang! The pressure intensified like a torrent, pouncing towards Qin Feiyong and Wolf King. Qin Feiyong's face turned pale. His body also trembled. The Wolf King let out a heart-wrenching cry. His fur gradually cracked, and blood spurted out like a fountain. However, this was not caused by Luo Guang's pressure. It was because the energy of the potential pill was too overbearing and was about to tear its body apart. Release them immediately, hand over the treasures, kneel down and apologize to us. Otherwise, I will use my pressure to crush your bodies alive. Luo Guang laughed sinisterly. Qin Feiyong's face was ferocious as he provoked. Then come and try. You are simply hopeless. Luo Guang was furious. The pressure of the 9-star War Emperor erupted without reservation. Wolf King sent a sound transmission. Little Qin Zi, it's not enough. Not enough. Qin Feiyong's eyes flashed as he sneered. Is this your pressure? It's nothing more than that. What? You still have the strength to be arrogant? Everyone, let's suppress him together and see how capable he is. Luo Guang shouted. The leader of the Black Tortoise tribe and the leader of the Ziyang tribe released their pressure at the same time and pounced towards the man and the wolf. Bang! As soon as the pressure descended, Wolf King's body suddenly exploded with a dull loud sound. As if he had broken some shackles, his glabella shone brightly. It was the potential imprint that was shining. That light was no longer red. It was dark red. This also meant that Wolf King had successfully opened the 4th level. What's going on? Everyone was shocked. Haha, Wolf King laughed wildly. Thank you. Qin Feiyong looked at Luo Guang and the other two and also revealed a bright smile. What do you mean? The three of them were a little confused. Why did it feel like this man and wolf had picked up a big bargain? It was also at this moment. Mu Qing's heart surged with a deep sense of uneasiness. It felt like something big was about to happen. Swish! Suddenly, Qin Feiyong waved his hand and a yellow pill appeared. It was the 9-chew yellow dragon pill. There were 5 pill patterns on it. A strong medicinal fragrance instantly filled the entire secret room. What? There are actually 5 pill patterns. Was this refined by him? Seeing the Xueqi yellow dragon pill, the group of people's hearts immediately set off stormy waves. Even the city lord was dumbfounded. No wonder the pagoda master valued him so much. It turned out that he could refine a medicinal pill with 5 pill patterns. What an astonishing talent in alchemy. In my life, this is the first time I've seen such a medicinal pill. The Purple Sun Tribe's high priest's eyes revealed a bright light and said with hurried breathing, Qin Feiyang, as long as you're willing to join my Purple Sun Tribe, we don't want those treasures, we'll give them all to you. The value of a medicinal pill with 5 pill patterns could no longer be measured with money. Even if they had to lose the entire Purple Sun Tribe, as long as they could exchange for this child's joining, it was worth it. Qin Feiyang glanced at the high priest and said, White-eyed wolf, what are you waiting for? Hee, this day has finally come. Wolf King jumped up, rolled his long tongue, and swept the Xueqi yellow dragon pill into his mouth. That pair of pitch-black eyes burst out with a bright light. What are they doing? Luo Guang frowned. Boom. Suddenly, a terrifying aura roared out from Wolf King's body. Following that, it soared all the way to the 1-star combat emperor. But this was just the beginning. This, what's going on? That medicinal pill just now, could it be the same as the red fire-colored glass pill, increasing one's cultivation? Everyone's expression changed. Boom. In just a split second, the Wolf King's cultivation had risen to the level of a 2-star combat emperor. His aura was like a rainbow. At this moment, the secret chamber shook violently. Crack. Accompanied by a series of loud sounds, cracks continued to spread. Boom. Finally, the secret chamber collapsed. Pieces of gravel and pieces of snow poured down in torrents. The city lord waved his hand, rolled up Luo Guang and the others, and soared into the sky. Little Qin Zi, quickly come on my back. Wolf King shouted. His small body expanded in the wind, and in an instant, he became a behemoth that was more than 10 meters long. Qin Feiyang jumped up and landed on his back. Howl! Wolf King howled, his aura swept in all directions, and he turned into a stream of light and soared into the sky. As he soared into the sky, his aura soared to the 3-star combat emperor. How could this be? He has broken through 3 small realms in a row. Could it be that the medicinal pill he just took was some kind of divine pill? Luo Guang and the others glared at him. Even the city lord couldn't stay calm. We can't let him continue to break through like this. The Black Tortoise leader's eyes were filled with killing intent. He took a step forward in the air. His battle aura surged, and he threw a punch at Wolf King. Little Qin Zi, stand firm. Wolf King's eyes flashed fiercely, and he instantly disappeared from the Black Tortoise leader's sight. What a fast speed! The Black Tortoise leader's pupils contracted. This beast's speed was comparable to a 7-star combat emperor. Swoosh! He took a step forward and quickly chased after Qin Zi. Luo Guang's eyes were cold as he looked at the Purple Sun Tribe's leader and high priest. They won't join the Purple Sun Tribe. If we let them escape, without the support of the resources we have accumulated over the years, our position as the top 3 tribes will soon be replaced by other tribes. Think carefully about what to do. After Luo Guang finished speaking, he rushed out and intercepted Qin Feiyang and Wolf King from the right. The middle-aged man and the high priest looked at each other and intercepted them from the left. The Sioux tribe's leader didn't stay idle either. He followed behind the Black Tortoise leader and madly chased after them. Seeing this, Mu Xueqi turned to look at the city lord and frowned. City lord, what should we do now? Mu Qing said, Sister, it's his own fault for not cherishing this opportunity. He can't blame us. But Mu Xueqi still wanted to say something. Mu Qing said angrily, that's enough. You can't even take care of your own matters. Do you have nothing better to do? After being reprimanded by Mu Qing, Mu Xueqi finally fell silent. At this moment, the city lord who had been silent all this time sighed and nodded. Mu Qing is right. He asked for it. Even if he is killed by the other leaders, he deserves it. Although he said so, there was a trace of pity in his eyes. Boom. At this moment, Wolf King's cultivation had another breakthrough. He was a 4-star combat emperor. However, his aura was still rising. Why hasn't it stopped yet? Is he going to defy the heavens? How can there be such a ridiculous thing in this world? The shock in everyone's heart could no longer be described with words. Luo Guang and the others' killing intent was getting stronger. The Black Tortoise leader shouted, Everyone, attack with all your might. Boom! 5 rays of battle chi appeared at the same time. Waves of world-destroying aura crazily rolled out. Crash! Boom! Accompanied by a series of loud noises, the 5 battle auras were like tsunamis in the ocean, rushing toward Qin Feiyong and Wolf King from all directions. Murderous aura filled the sky. Wolf King hurriedly said, "Little Qin Zi, quickly go to the castle." "What about you?" Qin Feiyong frowned. Wolf King grinned and said, "Don't worry, I won't die." Swoosh. Qin Feiyong flashed and disappeared without a trace. Almost in the next moment, Wolf King was mercilessly drowned by the battle auras. Suddenly, blood dyed the sky. Boom. But at this moment... Chapter 401. A Woo. At the same time, a wolf howl resounded through the sky. This aura. It has already broken through to the 5-star combat emperor. Luo Guang's group of 5, Mu Qing, Mu Xueqi, and the mayor were all dumbfounded. How was it possible to soar from the 9-star combat king to the 5-star combat emperor? Was this a dream? Slap. The leader of the Su tribe gave himself a hard slap. It hurt. It wasn't a dream. Die, all of you. Wolf King's angry roar suddenly rang out. Boom. The next moment, it rushed out from the battle chi. Its body was 15 to 16 meters long, like a mountain, hovering in the sky. That pair of fierce eyes was almost the size of a millstone, flashing with an astonishing fierce light. Its skin and flesh were lacerated all over its body, and blood flowed out, dyeing the void red. Swoosh. It glanced at everyone, and used the void escape step, heading straight for the leader of the Su tribe. Its speed was as fast as lightning. One had to know. The void escape step was a perfect battle art. Although it was only a 5-star combat emperor, it could unleash a speed comparable to a 9-star combat emperor. In a few blinks of an eye, it landed in front of the leader of the Su tribe. This person also had the strength of a 5-star combat emperor. However, when he saw Wolf King's fierce eyes, he was so scared that he fled for his life. "How dare you attack me? How dare you? Go to hell!" Wolf King roared angrily. Blood spurted out as it opened its mouth and directly bit off the head of the Su tribe's leader. He didn't even have time to scream before he breathed his last and fell to the ground. Blood spurted out from the bowl-sized wound on his neck. Trash. Wolf King sneered and raised his head to look at the Mu Qing siblings. Immediately, the siblings couldn't help but feel cold all over. The siblings were very clear. Their actions had already angered this ferocious wolf. If it wasn't for the mayor, Wolf King's next target would probably be them. At the same time, Black Tortoise leader, Luo Guang, Ziyang tribe's leader, and High Priest looked at the corpse of the Su tribe's leader and looked at each other. Killing intent filled their eyes. Boom. The 4 of them simultaneously activated their fighting souls and charged towards Wolf King. "Since you want to die so badly, I'll fulfill your wish." Wolf King abruptly turned around, and a golden beast shadow appeared behind him. Strip. Following its roar, the 4 fighting souls were devoured by the beast in the blink of an eye. What? Why is this happening? Where's my battle soul? Why can't I sense it? The 4 of them were dumbfounded. "Your fighting souls have been taken away by me." Wolf King grinned maliciously. He activated the void evasion step and appeared in front of the High Priest in a few flickers. It opened its mouth and swallowed the High Priest alive. The High Priest was only a 5-star combat emperor. Wolf King's plan was to get rid of the 2 5-star combat emperors first and then slowly deal with the others. "Bastard, I'll kill you." The chief of the Purple Sun tribe was furious. First, his fighting soul had been taken away, and now, the High Priestess had been swallowed alive. This had driven him crazy. He threw a punch at Wolf King. The strength of a 9-star combat emperor was not reserved at all. Berserker's fury. Wolf King raised his head and roared. His chi rose crazily once again. At the same time, he had transformed into a muscular wolf. He stood high up in the sky like an ancient giant, causing the Mu Qing siblings in the distance to be frightened. They finally realized what kind of existence they had offended. Wolf King's claw struck out and collided with the fist of the chief of the Purple Sun tribe. Boom! Wolf King was sent flying on the spot. The skin on his claw was lacerated. The chief of the Purple Sun tribe only took a few steps back. However, in his heart, waves were surging. He was a 9-star combat emperor. As for Wolf King, even if his cultivation had increased by 5 small realms in a short period of time, he was only a 5-star combat emperor. However, the collision just now had actually forced him to retreat. How could his strength be so ridiculously strong? Luo Guang and the Black Tortoise Commander were also in deep disbelief. I understand now. The city lord suddenly spoke. His eyes were filled with shock. What do you understand? The Mu Qing siblings were bewildered. Berserker's Fury is a superior combat art. Its footwork is a perfect auxiliary combat art. The city lord said in a deep voice. The siblings' eyes trembled. Luo Guang and the other two were even more shocked. Even for the 3 super tribes, the battle arts they had mastered were only of the medium grade. However, they did not expect that this beast not only mastered a superior combat art, but also a perfect auxiliary combat art. Unbelievable! What was the background of this Qin Feiyang? A ferocious beast beside him already had such an amazing combat art. Wouldn't he have mastered even more amazing combat arts? Boom! At this moment, Wolf King stabilized his huge body and glanced at Luo Guang and the other two. A 9-star combat emperor is just as oh. He grinned and swallowed a healing pill. The broken claw was immediately repaired at a speed visible to the naked eye. Extremely arrogant. The 3 of them were burning with anger and displayed their combat arts at the same time. Waves of shocking aura, like a torrent, crazily rolled out between heaven and earth. Kill! Following the 3 people's shout, the 3 major combat arts, with surging murderous intent, blasted towards Wolf King. You want to kill your brother with this little strength? Naive. Wolf King smiled disdainfully. Using the void escape step, he appeared on the other side in a few flashes. Encircle and annihilate it. Luo Guang shouted angrily. The 3 of them turned into a stream of light and quickly surrounded Wolf King in the middle. There's no need for this. Come on, I'll fight with you. Wolf King's heroic spirit soared to the sky. His huge body crossed the sky and instantly landed in front of the Black Tortoise leader. A man and a wolf collided with each other. Wolf King was sent flying on the spot, spitting out blood. Haha. So what if you're a 9-star combat emperor? I'll kill all of you today. Wolf King laughed wildly. The injury would not make him timid. It would only make him crazier and crazier. Roar. Boom. He was like a ferocious beast, crazily fighting with the 3 people. Blood flowed and dyed the sky red. Not good. Mu Qing frowned. Although Luo Guang and the other 2 were 9-star combat emperors and had mastered mid-tier combat arts, they did not have any auxiliary combat arts. Although Wolf King's strength was weaker than the 3 of them, the perfect auxiliary combat arts it had mastered were enough to keep its speed on par with the 3 of them. Facing the bombardment of the 3 people's combat arts, it could easily dodge them every time. Although it was at a disadvantage, Luo Guang and the other 2 were unable to cause fatal damage to it. There was one more point. The healing pill that the Wolf King had consumed had 2 pill veins. The healing pill of Luo Guang and the other 2 only had 1 pill pattern. Moreover, the pill patterns were still very blurry. The medicinal effect was naturally not as good as the healing pill with 2 pill patterns. More importantly, Wolf King was too ferocious. He was playing with his life. That astonishing battle intent was endless, oppressing the 3 of them to the point that they almost couldn't breathe. As time passed, seeing that they couldn't take down Wolf King, the 3 of them began to become a little impatient. Moreover, Wolf King's combat awareness and instincts were something that the 3 of them couldn't compare to. If this trend continued, the situation that was supposed to be a sure win would definitely be reversed. Sure enough, the chief of Ziyang tribe was slightly careless and Wolf King seized the opportunity to slap his head with his claw. Ah! Accompanied by a shrill scream, like a meteorite, it crashed into the glacier below. Boom! The glacier suddenly collapsed. Damn it! We 3 9-star combat emperors joined forces and we couldn't even defeat a beast. This is a great humiliation. Luo Guang and the Black Tortoise chief roared again and again. Battle chi and battle arts, they all rushed towards Wolf King. Old man, the show has only just begun. Wolf King used the void evasion step, dodging the attack of the battle arts and madly rushed towards Luo Guang. The millstone's eyes were suffused with a bloodthirsty radiance. Its entire body was covered in blood. A few wounds were so deep that the bones could be seen. If it was someone else or any other beast, they would have already collapsed after suffering such heavy injuries. However, Wolf King's aura was even more astonishing. It was like a fighting machine that didn't know fatigue or pain. Seeing Wolf King rushing towards him, Luo Guang's heart was filled with an indescribable sense of fear. He turned his head to look at the city lord and roared, "City Lord, please help me." The city lord frowned slightly. Boom! An astonishing aura, like a volcanic eruption, roared out from his body. In the end, he still chose to make a move. "Beast, your end is here." The chief of Ziyang tribe rushed out from the broken glacier below with a murderous aura all over his body. His head was broken. Blood flowed down and dyed his face red, making him look extremely ferocious at this moment. At the same time, Luo Guang and the Black Tortoise Chief were also full of confidence. As long as the city lord made a move, only death would await this beast today. "Whoever dares to move, I will kill them." At this moment, a cold voice came from below. "Who dares to threaten us? Are you courting death?" Luo Guang shouted. Everyone looked down and their expressions suddenly changed. They saw Qin Feiyang standing on an ice peak with 4 young people lying at his feet. It was Yun and the other 3. Qin Feiyang shouted, "White-eyed wolf, come down quickly. We never play games that we are not confident in." Wolf King chuckled, turned into the size of a palm, swooped down, landed on Qin Feiyang's shoulder, and then took a healing pill. "Game?" The city lord frowned and said in a deep voice, "For you, is this just a game?" Qin Feiyang said, "Regardless of whether it is a game or not, if you don't want them to lose their lives, stand there and don't move." Luo Guang and the other 2 had already swooped down, but when they heard this, they stopped in unison and looked at the city lord. The city lord was very angry and said angrily, "Qin Feiyang, don't be stubborn. Don't worry, I won't mess around in the future. Because all of this has nothing to do with me." Qin Feiyang glanced at the few people, waved his hand, and a portal quickly opened. Boom! However, at this moment, a terrifying aura descended upon the place. Qin Feiyang and Wolf King were immediately imprisoned in the void. This time, they were really imprisoned. Swish! A graceful woman appeared out of thin air in the sky. Her black hair was like a waterfall, her long skirt fluttered, and her eyes were as cold as ice, like an ice fairy that descended to the mortal world. She was the Pagoda Master. Greetings, Pagoda Master. Chapter 402. The Pagoda Master glanced at the 3 of them and then looked down at Qin Feiyang. "I'll give you another chance. Let them go and return the treasures of the 4 tribes. I'll think about it and give you a lighter punishment," she said with a straight face. There was a trace of disappointment in her dark eyes. Qin Feiyang said, "What if I say no? I'll kill you now. I'll give you 3 breaths to make a decision." The Pagoda Master said. 3 breaths passed in the blink of an eye. Seeing that Qin Feiyang didn't answer, the Pagoda Master didn't continue to talk nonsense and pointed her index finger in the air. A wave of battle chi emerged and rolled toward Qin Feiyang and Wolf King. Seeing this, a cold smile crept onto the faces of Luo Guang and the others. This was the result of being stubborn. Boom! However, at this time, a white figure suddenly appeared in front of Qin Feiyang and Wolf King. She was also a woman. She was also wearing a black mask on her face, covering her true face. As soon as she appeared, she waved her hand and a wave of battle chi went against the current and collided with the Pagoda Master's battle chi. Boom! At this moment, an earth-shattering noise suddenly resounded in this place. What? So strong! Seeing this, everyone present was extremely shocked. Who was this masked woman? She could compete with the Pagoda Master. Go! The masked woman looked up at the Pagoda Master, her eyes as calm as water, and said to Qin Feiyang without looking back, "Go." This voice. Qin Feiyang's eyes trembled. He was too familiar with this voice. It was the madam of the Meng family lurking in White Fox City. Wolf King shouted, "Little Qin Zi, what are you waiting for? Go." Qin Feiyang shivered, glanced at Mu Qing and her brother, then turned and plunged into the portal. The next moment, the portal disappeared. The Pagoda Master frowned and looked at the middle-aged woman, saying, "Who are you? It has nothing to do with you." The middle-aged woman said indifferently, then turned around and left. "You want to leave? Not so easy." A cold light flashed in the Pagoda Master's eyes. He turned into a flash of light and chased after them. The city lord and the others also quickly landed on the ice peak. Looking at the unconscious Yun and the other 3 who didn't even look human anymore, Their faces were as dark as water. Mu Qing's heart also felt heavy. It turned out that there was such a big shot behind Qin Feiyang. No wonder he dared to be so unbridled. Mu Xueqi whispered, "Brother, we really shouldn't meddle in his business. What's done is done. What's the use of regretting it now? Besides, I don't regret it. As long as I can gain the Tower Master's trust, I won't hesitate to offend Qin Feiyang, even if I have to offend everyone in the world." Mu Qing clenched her fists, and her eyes were filled with determination. At the same time, Qin Feiyang was standing on the shore of a frozen lake. Seeing this scene, Qin Feiyang was filled with emotions. 7 months ago, it was him and Fatso who fled for their lives. 7 months later, they came here again, but the ones who fled were these water beasts. In just a few months, except for the pangolin, everyone's strength had undergone earth-shaking changes. Especially Wolf King, who could even fight against a 9-star combat emperor. When he returned to the state capital, who knew how many jaws would drop? A moment later, a man and a wolf sank to the bottom of the lake. The bottom of the lake was filled with mud and gravel. After being stirred up by the water beasts, it became very turbid. Wolf King said angrily, "How are we going to find it?" Qin Feiyang frowned and said, "Let's wait until the lake water clears up." Immediately, 1 man and 1 wolf stayed at the bottom of the lake, quietly waiting. Hundreds of breaths passed. The lake water finally became much clearer, and one could see 2 to 3 meters away. Qin Feiyang and Wolf King began to search at the bottom of the lake. The water beasts had all run to the surface of the water. Except for 1 man and 1 wolf, there were no other creatures at the bottom of the lake. It was silent. Soon, they searched the bottom of the lake, but found nothing. Wolf King said, "No wonder, the exit can't be underwater." Qin Feiyang frowned and said, "Look again." 1 man and 1 wolf searched the bottom of the lake again, but still found nothing. Wolf King said helplessly, "Give up now." Qin Feiyang stood on a pile of gravel, his brows tightly knitted. If the exit was not here, then it would be troublesome. The Forgotten Land was vast and boundless. Finding an exit was like finding a needle in a haystack. Wolf King suddenly said, "Little Qin Zi, what if there is no exit?" Qin Feiyang's eyes trembled, and he shouted in a low voice, "Shut up." He didn't want to be trapped in this place for the rest of his life. Suddenly, the gravel under his feet moved. Qin Feiyang was shocked and hurriedly looked down, but there was nothing unusual. Was it an illusion? Just when he was about to believe that it was an illusion, the gravel under his feet moved again. What's going on? Wolf King also noticed it, and his eyes were full of surprise. Qin Feiyang swallowed his saliva and bent down to grab the gravel. But at this moment, all the gravel began to move. Wolf King hurriedly took Qin Feiyang and retreated. Crash! Bang! 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 Just as they retreated, the pile of gravel collapsed in an instant and rolled to both sides. Pieces of mud rose and dyed the lake water extremely muddy. A man and a wolf caught a white shadow in the muddy water. At the same time, there was a rumbling sound. But soon, the movement disappeared. The mud in the lake water also slowly settled. When the lake water cleared and they saw what was in front of them, Qin Feiyang and Wolf King couldn't help but change their expressions. Between the mud and gravel, there was a huge monster lying quietly. It was the head of a snow python. But compared to the 3 they encountered before, this snow python was much bigger. Its head was as thick as a dustpan. They didn't know the length because they could only see 3 or 4 meters away. However, judging from its sturdy body, this snow python was definitely not less than 10 meters long. "Little Qin Zi, I can't see through this guy's cultivation." Wolf King transmitted his voice. His tone was very serious. This snow python didn't emit any aura. If they didn't see it with their own eyes, they wouldn't have noticed it here. However, it gave Qin Feiyang and Wolf King an extremely strong sense of danger. Qin Feiyang observed for a moment. He found that the snow python's eyes were closed and it was motionless. Its breathing and heartbeat were also very stable. Qin Feiyang transmitted his voice. "It should be sleeping. It just turned over." Wolf King heaved a sigh of relief and said to himself, "This guy's strength has obviously surpassed the War Emperor. Don't you think it's strange that it's hiding here?" Qin Feiyang's heart skipped a beat as he asked in surprise, "What do you mean? What could it be guarding?" It's even possible that there's some treasure hidden here. At the mention of treasures, the Wolf King's eyes glowed green. Treasure. Qin Feiyong glanced at the snow python, his eyes flickering. What are you thinking about? Hurry up and find it. The Wolf King urged, his saliva dripping down. Okay, let's find it. Qin Feiyong nodded. It was better to believe it than not to believe it. What if there was really some treasure? A man and a wolf followed the snow python's huge body and searched all the way down. They found the snow python's tail. In the end, they didn't find anything except gravel and mud. You dare to make me happy for nothing? Wolf King was very unhappy. He slapped the snow python's tail with his claws. The snow python's huge body suddenly shook. Its huge tail suddenly rose and swept towards the man and the wolf. Qin Feiyong's expression changed. He hurriedly took Wolf King to hide in the castle. After entering the castle, Qin Feiyong glared at Wolf King. Was this thing something they could provoke? Chapter 403. Wolf King also realized that he had made a big mistake. He smiled embarrassedly. I was impulsive and couldn't hold back. Sorry. Qin Feiyong rolled his eyes and listened carefully to the movements outside. Boom. A loud noise came into the castle. It must be the sound of the snow python's huge tail hitting the bottom of the lake. Then, it was quiet outside. It seems that it didn't wake up. Qin Feiyong whispered. It made sense. For such a huge creature, Wolf King's claw just now was just tickling it. Don't mess around. After waiting for a while, Qin Feiyong warned Wolf King and appeared at the bottom of the lake again with Wolf King. A pitch-black ditch immediately entered their line of sight. It was obviously caused by the snow python's huge tail. Qin Feiyong looked at the ditch and his pupils shrank slightly. He whispered, "Let's go up quickly. Let's look again." Wolf King was a little unwilling. Qin Feiyong couldn't help but feel helpless. A man and a wolf followed the snow python's huge tail and came to the side of the snow python's head. It seems that I really thought too much. Wolf King shook his head and sighed. With eyes full of disappointment, he rolled up Qin Feiyong and swept towards the surface of the water. Suddenly, Qin Feiyong shouted, "Wait!" Wolf King's eyes lit up and said excitedly, "Did you find some treasure?" Qin Feiyong rolled his eyes. If this goes on, this ruffian wolf will definitely become a little money grubber. He lowered his head and looked at the ground next to the snow python's head. Just now when Wolf King hit it with his claw, it turned over again. The place that was originally blocked by its head was now completely exposed. There was still a layer of mud on the ground. However, in the middle of the mud, there was a very neat square mark. Qin Feiyong looked at it and felt a little strange. If it was accidentally caused, the shape wouldn't be so neat. Qin Feiyong whispered, "Let's go down and take a look." The Wolf King landed in front of the mark with him. Qin Feiyong bent down and wiped off the mud on his clothes. His eyes suddenly lit up. He hurriedly stretched out his other hand and used both hands to carefully scrape away the mud. "What are you doing?" Wolf King was puzzled. "Shh." Qin Feiyong made a shushing gesture. When all the sludge was cleared, a secret door entered his sight. There's actually another secret. Wolf King's eyes widened and his saliva flowed out. Needless to say, there must be some kind of treasure hidden under this secret door. Qin Feiyong glanced at the secret door and then glanced at the snow python. He seemed to have understood something. The snow python's head was pressed against the secret door. After 2 flips, the secret door was exposed. At the same time, because he flipped over, he stirred up the mud in other places. When the sludge settled down and landed on the secret door, it formed a mark around the edges of the secret door. In other words, if Wolf King hadn't patted it with his paw, this secret door would have been sealed at the bottom of the lake forever. He didn't expect that the ruffian wolf, who almost caused a disaster, would be a great help instead. "What are you thinking? Go down quickly," Wolf King said impatiently. "What's the hurry? What if it's not a treasure but a devil's den below? If we rush in like this, won't we be courting death?" Qin Feiyong transmitted his voice. "You're so long-winded." Wolf King pushed him away. He clasped the edge of the secret door with his paw and pulled it up forcefully. The secret door suddenly opened. It was pitch black inside. Splash! The lake water, mixed with mud, poured into it. At the same time, The snow python next to him also suddenly opened its eyes. Its eyes were extremely gloomy and cold. Seeing this, Qin Feiyong couldn't help but feel his scalp numb. He went into the secret door without hesitation. Wolf King also followed closely behind. After a man and a wolf went in, the secret door was closed with a bang under the water pressure. Bang! In the endless darkness, Qin Feiyong suddenly felt that he had fallen onto a hard rock. All the bones in his body were about to fall apart. He was extremely sore. It's so soft. What the hell is this? The Wolf King's bewildered voice reverberated in the air. It meant that this was a sealed space. Nonsense. You're on top of me. Of course it's soft. Qin Feiyong's angry roar followed. Sorry. I didn't mean to use you as a meat cushion. Wolf King laughed. He waved his paw and a golden battle aura emerged, shining in all directions. What entered their sight was a cave. It was very humid and cold. It gave off a gloomy feeling. And at the top of the cave, which was dozens of meters high, they could clearly see a secret door. At the edge of the secret door, there was still residual lake water dripping down continuously. Why didn't that snow python come in? Wolf King stood on Qin Feiyong's chest. He looked up at the secret door with a surprised expression. Can you go down first? Qin Feiyong said angrily. Did he not see that he was still lying on the ground with his limbs spread out? Hey, sorry. Wolf King grinned and jumped to the ground. Qin Feiyong got up. His flaming battle aura surged and evaporated the lake water on his body. At the same time, the Wolf King turned around and looked behind him. His eyes were immediately stunned. He stretched out his little paw and pulled Qin Feiyong's pants. Little Qin Zi, look at that. What is that? What? Qin Feiyong's heart skipped a beat. Could there be some ferocious beasts lurking here? He slowly turned around to look. At that moment, his face was filled with ecstasy. It was not a ferocious beast. This was the bottom of the cave. It was about 100 feet deep. And dozens of meters in front of him, which was the center of the cave, stood a blood-red altar. That altar, whether it was size or shape, was exactly the same as the altar in Butterfly Valley. In other words, this was most likely the exit. Damn it! Suddenly, Wolf King roared. Qin Feiyong was shocked and hurriedly asked, "What's wrong? Why is there no treasure? Isn't it equivalent to working hard for half a day in vain?" Wolf King said angrily. A row of black lines suddenly appeared on Qin Feiyong's forehead. "I'll endure it." He took a deep breath and walked to the blood-red altar, frowning slightly. He remembered that before coming here, the ugly old woman used battle aura to revive. And at that time, she looked very strained. The ugly old woman was very strong, but even she was having such a hard time. With his and the Wolf King's strength, would they be able to revive the altar? Qin Feiyong looked at Wolf King and said angrily, "Don't look like you're half dead. Hurry up and try. Can you revive the altar?" Wolf King pursed its lips, and its eyes suddenly lit up. "Little Qin Zi, the snow python is so strong. It must have treasures on it. Why don't we wait until we get its treasures before leaving?" It said excitedly. Qin Feiyong immediately gave it a knock on the head and shouted, "Hurry up! You know how strong the snow python is, but you still want to provoke it? Are you tired of living? Boring." Wolf King groaned and walked to the altar. With a wave of its little paw, battle aura emerged and flowed toward the altar. The altar suddenly emitted a ray of bloodlight. But it was still far from being revived. 100 breaths passed. The altar was still not fully revived. "I'm the peerless wolf god. Can't I do anything to you?" Wolf King also became angry. The battle aura in its sea of chi poured out without reservation. However, the blood-colored altar still could not be completely revived. Qin Feiyong raised his eyebrows. Flaming battle aura, purple gold dragon aura, and red sword aura all emerged and rushed toward the altar. At the same time, with a thought, he took Fatso and the pangolin out and shouted, "Help!" The man and the beast glanced at the underground cave in surprise and were about to ask. But when they heard Qin Feiyong's words, they immediately mobilized their battle aura and poured it into the altar. Another 100 breaths passed. Qin Feiyong and Fatso's faces began to turn pale. Wolf King and the pangolin also showed a trace of weakness in their eyes. Fatso shouted, "Boss, it's not working. With our strength, There's no way to revive it. What should we do? Wolf King and the pangolin were also a little out of their wits. Boom! All of a sudden, a muffled noise came from above the secret door. The two men and two beasts looked over at the same time. Get out of the way immediately and I'll spare your life. All of a sudden, a woman's angry shout came in. It's her. Qin Feiyong and the others looked at each other. This was the madam's voice. Fatso said in surprise. How did she find this place? Qin Feiyong frowned. This matter was indeed a little strange. He did not tell anyone that he came here. Logically speaking, this woman should definitely not know his whereabouts. This is a forbidden area, no trespassing, scram. At this moment, another woman's voice sounded, filled with a supreme majesty. Who is this? Wolf King was shocked. This was not the madam's voice, nor was it the pagoda master's voice. Could it be that somewhere in the ice lake, there was still a peerless powerhouse lurking? Qin Feiyong said, don't care who it is, hurry up and revive the altar. If they were caught by the madam, they would probably never have the chance to leave the Forgotten Land. However, their battle chi was about to be exhausted, and they could not completely revive the altar. The pangolin said anxiously, Qin Feiyong, hurry up and think of a way, I don't want to die here. Yeah, Fatso shouted, Fat Lord is not married yet. We can't let him fall into the hands of that woman. Shut up! Qin Feiyong shouted, countless thoughts flashing through his mind. Boom! Bang bang bang! Outside, a series of earth-shattering noises kept coming in. The underground cave trembled violently. I don't know if this method will work. Qin Feiyong mumbled. With a wave of his hand, a battle chi pill appeared, shining with a dazzling light, and flew toward the altar. The energy of the battle chi pill could replenish battle chi. Perhaps it could also be used to revive the altar. Under Qin Feiyong's nervous gaze, the battle chi pill landed on the altar and immediately shattered, turning into a pure energy that was absorbed by the altar. It works. Qin Feiyong's eyes lit up, and he shouted, hurry up and throw in all your battle chi pills. Hearing that, Fatso and Wolf King took out their battle chi pills. There were 5 elixir patterns. There was 1 elixir pattern. There were also those without elixir patterns. The battle chi pills without elixir patterns were all looted from the treasure vault of the trading pavilion, the He tribe, and the Lu tribe. There were a total of 300,000 to 400,000. A large number of them were thrown toward the altar. Bas! The blood-colored altar shone brightly in an instant, and finally fully revived. Chapter 404. Just as Qin Feiyong and the others stepped onto the blood-colored altar, the secret door at the top of the stone cave opened. The lake water poured down. A white figure descended into the grotto. It was that mysterious lady. She looked at the altar, then looked at Qin Feiyong and the others, and said gloomily, Where do you want to go? Qin Feiyong and the others did not answer. The blood-red light of the altar shone brightly, and their figures were quickly fading. Looks like I've cultivated a few white-eyed wolf, since that's the case. I'll kill you with my own hands. The lady was furious, her index finger pointed in the air, and battle chi gushed out from her fingertip. Quick, quick, quick. Qin Feiyong was anxious. He wished he could be teleported away immediately. At this moment, the secret door opened again. A white light flashed into the grotto. It was a snow python. But it was only as thick as an arm, and a meter long. Its entire body was snow-white, as if it was carved from a piece of jade, shining with a hazy light. Trespassers will be killed without mercy. The snow python roared, and rushed towards the lady like lightning. It's her voice. Qin Feiyong was stunned. So the second voice that sounded out before was this snow python. The lady's gaze darkened, and she had to change her target, pointing at the snow python. Battle chi was like a rainbow, and it collided with the snow python. At the same time, Qin Feiyong and the others' figures completely faded, and disappeared without a trace. The light of the blood-red altar also quickly dimmed. Damn it! Seeing this, the lady cursed, looked at the snow python, and said angrily, Why didn't you stop them? Although they sneaked in while I was asleep, they didn't force their way in like you did. Moreover, they're not from the Forgotten Continent. Leaving is only a matter of time. The snow python said coldly. What? Not from the Forgotten Continent? The lady's gaze trembled and said in surprise. Could they be from that continent? That's right. I know your identity. I don't want to target you now. Leave quickly. The snow python said. The madam's pupils shrank. She took a deep look at the blood-colored altar, then turned into a stream of light, opened the secret door and quickly left. Qin Feiyang, what an interesting little fellow. But if I'm targeted by this woman, I won't have any peaceful days in the future, the snow python muttered to itself. With a glint in its eyes, it left the cave as well. Soon, the cave fell into a deathly silence. Meanwhile, above the grove in Butterfly Valley, Qin Feiyang, Fatso, Wolf King, and the pangolin appeared out of nowhere. Wolf King waved its claws and released its battle aura, lifting Qin Feiyang and the others into the air. Looking at the familiar scene below, he could not help but feel joy in his eyes. Fortunately, the snow python came in time. Otherwise, the situation would have been very bad. But suddenly, Qin Feiyang remembered the ugly old woman and shouted at Wolf King. Retreat! Retreat? Wolf King was stunned for a moment before he understood. He immediately turned around and flew towards the sea of flowers. Even if you don't want to see me, you should at least say hello before leaving. But at this time, the hoarse voice of a figure sounded. Following closely, the ugly old woman rushed out of the grove and stood in front of Qin Feiyang and the others. Damned old witch! Wolf King cursed in his heart, then quickly turned around and fled towards the back. The ugly old woman sneered. Qin Feiyang, don't you want the antidote? Wolf King roared. Want your sister, scram as far as you can. Shwa! The ugly old woman flashed a few times and stood in front of Qin Feiyang and the others. Her eyes were filled with ridicule. Fuck, are you done yet? Wolf King was furious. He turned in the air and continued to flee. Qin Feiyang sighed. Stop, you won't be able to escape. Wolf King stopped in mid-air, glared at the ugly old woman and shouted. Old witch, brother is telling you, don't go too far. The ugly old woman said. Cut the crap, hand over the heavenly thunder flame. I didn't get it. Qin Feiyang shook his head. The ugly old woman frowned and said in a deep voice. You really didn't get it? Or do you want to take it for yourself? The owner of the heavenly thunder flame is an expert that surpasses the war emperor. How do you want us to snatch it? If you have the ability, then go. Ugly people do more strange things. This sentence is indeed true. Qin Feiyang shouted angrily. His face was full of ridicule. Without the black fiend poison, he wasn't afraid of this old witch. Do you want to die? The ugly old woman's gaze turned cold. Qin Feiyang sneered. I want to, but do you have the ability? The ugly old woman stared at him gloomily, and suddenly laughed. If you don't bring back the heavenly thunder flame, then don't get the antidote. TSK, who cares about your antidote? Fatso disdained. Wolf King waved his claws and said impatiently. Don't waste your breath with her. Just send a message to little girl Ren and ask her grandfather to come and save us. The ugly old woman's eyes flashed, and she asked. You really didn't get the heavenly thunder flame? Even if I did, I wouldn't give it to you. Qin Feiyang shrugged his shoulders. You have a personality, kid. In that case, you've also cured the black fiend poison? The ugly old woman said. Qin Feiyang nodded. That's right, what else can you use to threaten me now? Hee hee. The ugly old woman laughed. Qin Feiyang and the others looked at each other. Was this old witch stupid? Suddenly, Qin Feiyang waved his hand and opened a teleportation gate. The two men and two beasts rushed in at lightning speed, and the next moment, they appeared in a valley. We've finally escaped. Fatso, Wolf King, and the pangolin immediately collapsed to the ground, patting their chests with lingering fear. Qin Feiyang also heaved a long sigh of relief. The ugly old woman was too strong. If they had not escaped in time, they would have been trapped in the Butterfly Valley for the rest of their lives. Fatso got up, looked around and asked suspiciously. Where is this? Don't you remember? This is the lair of the pangolin. Qin Feiyang smiled faintly. This was where they found the pangolin back then. If they had not come to look for the pangolin back then, none of this would have happened. For a moment, Fatso was also filled with emotions. Wolf King soared into the air and looked in the direction of the city. A fierce light flashed in his eyes as he sneered. It's time to go back and deal with the Dong family. Little follower. See you later. The pangolin hurriedly said. Don't, this king will follow you in the future. In your dreams. Fatso glanced at it with disdain. If it weren't for the potential pill, this guy might have slipped away long ago. Brother Chin Dage, my dear big brother, can you be so merciful and do a good deed and take me in? Wolf King and Fatso both disagreed. The pangolin could only run to Qin Feiyong and hug Qin Feiyong's thigh, looking at him with tears in his eyes. Qin Feiyong's face twitched and said with a straight face, "Didn't you think of ways to escape?" At that time, this king was blind. More importantly, this king didn't have any feelings for you at that time. But after 7 months of being together, this king realized that I can't leave you. The pangolin said with snot and tears. Like a child about to be abandoned, he looked extremely pitiful. Keep pretending, keep pretending. Do you think we're idiots? Who doesn't know that you can't leave the potential pill? Wolf King and Fatso rolled their eyes. He kept saying gentleman all day long, but he was actually more cunning than anyone else. I'm not talking to you. Why are you interrupting? His lie was exposed, and the pangolin could not help but stare at the man and wolf angrily. Qin Feiyong pondered for a moment and nodded. It's not impossible to take you in. The pangolin perked up and hurriedly said. What are your conditions? Just say it. I don't care how you usually mess around, but when your life is at stake, you have to be with us and advance and retreat together. Qin Feiyong said. The pangolin patted his chest and said solemnly. Of course. It's useless to say this. I want to see your actions in the future. You have to remember this. If I can nurture you, I can also destroy you. Qin Feiyong said. The pangolin shrunk his neck and nodded. If there comes a day when this king really betrays everyone, you don't have to be polite. Just kill this king directly. If that really happens, it would be too easy for you to just kill you directly. Chapter 405. Seeing Qin Feiyong so confident, Yan Nanshan let out a sigh of relief and asked, Do you have a plan? Qin Feiyong replied, Uncle Yan, I want you to spread the news of my appearance. Spread? Yan Nanshan frowned. It's not to spread, just to tell Steward Dong. At this point, Qin Feiyong hesitated for a bit, then smiled faintly. Forget it, I'll arrange it myself. You just wait for my good news in the temple. Yan Nanshan rolled his eyes. What a flaunting brat. But then again, I don't have time to meddle in your business. No time? Qin Feiyong was stunned. Wasn't managing the resource hall very free? Yan Nanshan replied, You still don't know, but the temple's great gathering has already begun. I have to supervise them. The temple's great gathering? Qin Feiyong, Fatso, and Wolf King looked at each other, their eyes full of doubt. What kind of competition is this? Didn't it start a month ago? Why hasn't it ended yet? Qin Feiyong asked suspiciously. How can it be so fast? All temple's disciples can participate, but there's only one arena. The top 100 have only just been decided. I'm afraid it'll be half a month before the end of the competition. Right, the rewards this time are pretty good. Why don't you all participate too? Yan Nanshan said. Fatso's eyes lit up asking, What rewards? First place, a potential pill. Second place, a high-grade auxiliary battle art. Third place, a high-grade slaughter battle art. Fourth to 10th place, all of them are mid-grade battle arts. And the top 10, as long as they break through to the combat emperor stage, can directly enter the inner temple. That's equivalent to getting a reserved spot in the inner temple in advance. Yan Nanshan smiled. Wolf King said disdainfully, TCH, and I thought it was some kind of reward? Fatty chimed in, That's more like it's enough to get rid of beggars. Yan Nanshan's face twitched. You're not satisfied with a superior battle art? Qin Feiyong asked, Where did the potential pill come from? Didn't you give Zhan Bao Pavilion 2 last time? The Lu family got one, and so did our temple. Yan Nanshan said. Fatso pursed his lips and said, It's something that we don't want, but they treat it as a treasure. How funny. Yan Nanshan could not help but smile bitterly. The potential elixir was something that even he yearned for, let alone the disciples of the temple. However, the 3 little bastards had looks of disdain on their faces. How could he, and the rest of the world, endure such an attitude? Yan Nanshan said helplessly, This is too much of a blow. I'm not going to talk to you guys anymore. If there's anything, send me a message. Qin Feiyong hurriedly said, Uncle Yen, wait a moment. Give me the coordinates of the Dong family. Coordinates? Yen Nanshan looked at him suspiciously. After telling Qin Feiyong the coordinates, he turned off the image crystal. Fatso chuckled, then suddenly frowned and asked, Boss, didn't you give Yen Nanshan the potential elixir? Qin Feiyong thought for a while and said, I think I only gave him the Juku Yellow Dragon elixir. I didn't give him the potential elixir. He's so good to us. Now that we can't use up the potential elixir, we might as well help him open the door of potential. Fatso said. I wouldn't agree with the others, but I agree with Yen Nanshan. Wolf King said. I didn't think of it before. When we go back, I'll give it to him immediately. Qin Feiyong nodded. Speaking of this, he suddenly thought of someone. Battle Chi surged into the image crystal. Soon, a beautiful figure appeared. She was Ren Wushuang. As soon as she saw Qin Feiyong, Ren Wushuang's beautiful eyes widened. She said in surprise, Feiyong, is it really you? Qin Feiyong smiled and said, Sis, it's only been a few months since we last met. Why don't you recognize me? Bastard brat. Ren Wushuang was furious. Without a doubt. Qin Feiyong was fiercely reprimanded again. A moment later, Qin Feiyong looked at Ren Wushuang helplessly and said, Sis, are you done scolding? If you're done scolding, let's talk about business. Not enough. Tell me the coordinates and I'll go find you immediately. Ren Wushuang gritted her teeth. Qin Feiyong's heart skipped a beat. The tigress was about to flip out. Cough cough. He coughed dryly and asked, Sis, have you taken the Juku Yellow Dragon elixir? What? You want to go back? No way, don't try to change the topic. Give me the coordinates. Ren Wushuang shouted angrily. Her two pure white hands were clenched into fists, and her eyes were extremely ferocious. No, what I mean is, if you didn't take it, I'll give you another Juku Yellow Dragon elixir. Qin Feiyong smiled apologetically, not mentioning a single word about the coordinates. Why do you have to give it to me separately? Ren Wushuang frowned. Qin Feiyong said helplessly. Can you answer me first? Ren Wushuang said, I'm going to take it when I'm an 8-star War Emperor, so the Juku Yellow Dragon elixir is still here. Qin Feiyong asked. Then how many stars of War Emperor are you now? Ren Wushuang said, 2 stars. You only broke through 1 star? Qin Feiyong was stunned. He remembered that when he came out of the ruins, Ren Wushuang was a 1-star War Emperor. Counting carefully, more than a year had passed since then. But when he thought of this, Qin Feiyong's face revealed a bitter smile. It wasn't easy to break through every small realm of the War Emperor realm. To break through a small realm in more than a year's time, for someone who hadn't unlocked the door of potential, it was simply impossible. This was enough to show that Ren Wushuang's talent was extremely astonishing. If it wasn't for the fact that she had been delayed in the ruins for so many years, she might already be a war master. Give the Juku Yellow Dragon elixir on you to the Lion Head Eagle. After I finish dealing with the matters at hand and return to the temple, I'll give you another one. After Qin Feiyong finished speaking, he immediately turned off the image crystal, so as to avoid being lectured any further. Fatso gloated. Boss, so you have someone you're afraid of. You dare to say that you're not afraid of her? Qin Feiyong rolled his eyes at him, and said in a deep voice, I'll give you a mission. Speak. Fatso's face turned solemn, and he immediately put away his playful heart. Qin Feiyong said, Disguise yourself and go to the Dong family. Bring Steward Dong here for me, but it's best not to alert anyone else. It's a small matter. Fatso smiled confidently, consumed an illusory form pill, and turned into a middle-aged brawny man. He then opened a teleportation gate and quickly left. Qin Feiyong and Wolf King discussed for a moment, then sat cross-legged on the ground and closed their eyes to meditate. In front of the Dong family's main gate. Shwa! Fatso appeared out of thin air. Who are you? The 4 guards shouted. They all had the strength of a 9-star war king. Fatso looked at the 2 sides of the street sneakily, and said in a low voice, I want to see your butler. The 4 of them looked at each other with a trace of suspicion in their eyes. One of them asked, Is there something you need from our butler? Of course there's something, and it's a big deal. Hurry up and bring me there. If there's any delay, none of you will have a good time. Fatso bellowed. Seeing his serious expression, the 4 guards were shocked. Follow me. One of the guards immediately turned around and ran inside with Fatso. Not long after, the 2 of them arrived in front of a courtyard. Steward Dong was sitting in the courtyard, drinking tea and basking in the sun, looking extremely relaxed. The guard said respectfully, "Steward, this person is looking for you for an urgent matter." Steward Dong was slightly stunned. He turned to look at the 2 of them, and his eyes locked onto Fatso. He asked, "What is it?" "That." Fatso looked at the guard and evaded. Steward Dong waved his hand and said, "You may leave." "Yes." The guard bowed and left. Steward Dong then said to Fatso, "Come in and talk." Fatso walked into the courtyard and said with a flattering smile, "Sir, this news is very important. You have to give me something in return before I can tell you." Steward Dong raised his eyebrows, put down the teapot, and said, "In the state capital, no one dares to negotiate with me." He paused for a moment and added, "However, if the information you say is indeed useful to me, I will consider giving you some compensation." Fatso said, "Qin Feiyong." "What?" Steward Dong could not sit still when he heard this name. Fatso said, "When I was hunting outside the city, I saw Qin Feiyong and that ruffian wolf." "Where are they?" Steward Dong grabbed Fatso's clothes, his old eyes flashing with a shocking cold light. "This, sir, look." Fatso rubbed his fingers, his face full of flattery. Steward Dong frowned and let go. "Are you sure it's them? You have to know that lying to me will cost you your life." Fatso nodded. "I dare to use my head to guarantee it." Overjoyed, Steward Dong laughed. "All right, follow me to meet the family head immediately. At that time, the family head will definitely reward you handsomely." Don't. Fatso said hurriedly. "What do you mean?" Steward Dong frowned. "Sir, think about it. If you tell the Dong family head now, you won't get any credit. On the contrary, if Milord were to first capture Qin Feiyong and that ruffian wolf, and then deliver them to the Dong family's patriarch, that would be a great merit." Fatso said. "Ah." Steward Dong looked at Fatso in surprise and laughed. "I didn't expect you to be so smart." Hee. Fatso smiled obsequiously. "I only hope that you can take care of me in the future, sir. All right, after this matter is done, you can stay by my side. I'll guarantee you a meteoric rise." Steward Dong laughed. However, a cold killing intent flashed through the depths of his old eyes. "Thank you, sir." The fatty bowed and said with a smile, as if he was overwhelmed by the favor and moved to tears. Steward Dong said, "Take me there quickly." Fatso immediately told Steward Dong the coordinates of the valley. Steward Dong took out a teleportation door and quickly opened it. Then, he grabbed Fatso and walked in. In the next moment, the 2 of them descended into the valley. When he saw Qin Feiyong sitting cross-legged not far in front of him, his entire body suddenly emitted a monstrous killing intent. Qin Feiyong's expression changed drastically. He suddenly stood up, looked at Steward Dong in shock and anger, and said in disbelief, "How did you find this place?" But if one looked carefully, they would notice that his left hand was hidden in his sleeve. Steward Dong sneered. "Even if you hide to the ends of the earth, you can't escape from this old man's palm." "What do you want?" Qin Feiyong said angrily. "What do you think? You killed the 3rd young master. Of course you have to pay with your blood." Steward Dong laughed sinisterly. "Bullshit. Back then, it was clearly you and Dong Zheng who wanted to take the opportunity to kill me. Now you're biting back. Do you have any shame?" Qin Feiyong shouted angrily. "So what? Now everyone only knows that you killed the 3rd young master. Even if you tell the truth, no one will believe you. Even the sacred temple can't protect you now. Don't struggle, obediently follow this old man. Maybe you can save your life, or leave an intact corpse." The corner of Steward Dong's mouth raised, with a hint of ridicule. Hee. Qin Feiyong laughed. Wolf King also laughed. Chapter 406. When Steward Dong saw the situation, a sense of unease rose in his heart. "Thank you very much. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to clear my name," Qin Feiyong said with a chuckle. He stretched out his hand that was hidden in his sleeve. There was an image crystal in his hand. Damn it! Butler Dong's expression changed. Hee hee. Do you think Fat Lord will be so kind as to let you go? Fatso laughed sinisterly. He took the facial restoration pill and quickly regained his original appearance. It's you. Butler Dong's gaze trembled. Only now did he realize that this was a trap. Your words just now are enough to ruin the Dong family's reputation. But then again, you're an old fox. Why are you so stupid? Fatso laughed mockingly. Steward Dong's aged hands were tightly clenched together. But suddenly he laughed again. So what if I have evidence? With the strength of you little bastards, do you think you can make it back to the city alive? Boom. After saying that, a powerful aura roared out from his body. He took a step forward, carrying a murderous aura, and charged towards the two men and the wolf. Qin Feiyong's pupils shrank. He asked, "How's your strength?" 2-star combat emperor. Wolf King grinned. A butler is a 2-star combat emperor. The Dong family's strength should not be underestimated. Fatso, take some time to investigate the Dong family and the Xiao family. Qin Feiyong whispered. He knew the basic situation of the Lu family, but he knew nothing about the Dong family and the Xiao family. Understood. Fatso nodded. Investigate us? Haha, wait until you're alive. Butler Dong laughed out of anger. In the face of his attack, the two men and the wolf did not run away. Instead, they spoke with conviction. They simply did not put him in their eyes. Old thing, if you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. Wolf King's eyes flashed fiercely. He used the air escape step and arrived in front of Butler Dong at lightning speed. He clawed at his chest. Puff! Butler Dong immediately spat out a mouthful of blood. His old body flew out horizontally and smashed into a huge mountain behind him. Rumble! A huge hole immediately appeared on the mountain peak. Don't kill him, Qin Feiyong said. Whoosh! Wolf King turned into a streak of light and flew into the hole. He then grabbed Butler Dong and flew out. However, at this moment, Steward Dong had completely lost his previous arrogance. His hair was disheveled, his face dirty, and his entire chest caved in. Blood continued to flow from the corner of his mouth. His old face was also filled with disbelief. It had only been 7 months. How had this ruffian wolf become so strong? Qin Feiyong said, "Cripple him." Old bastard, you didn't think that you would have a day like this, did you? Fatso sneered. He took out a dagger and stabbed it into Steward Dong's chi-si. Ah! The heart-wrenching pain caused Butler Dong to howl miserably. Fatso took out another healing pill and threw it into Butler Dong's mouth to keep him alive. Wolf King threw Butler Dong to the ground and asked, "Little Qin Zi, what's next?" "Let's go to the treasure pavilion first and find Yin Yuan Ming." Qin Feiyong put away the image crystal and sent Butler Dong into the ancient castle. Then, he opened a teleportation door. Then, 2 people and a wolf strode in. East City. The lounge of the treasure pavilion. 2 people and a wolf appeared out of thin air. Qin Feiyong glanced around the lounge. Everything was still the same as before. There were no changes at all. But Yin Yuan Ming was not in the lounge. Fatso said, "Fat Lord, go find him." "No need. Anyway, we're not in a hurry now. Let's wait for a while." Qin Feiyong shook his head, walked to the tea table, and boiled water to make tea as if it was his own home. In fact, he didn't want others to know that he had returned too early. Because it was too boring. It was fine if he didn't make a move, but once he made a move, he would amaze the world. At the same time, in the VIP room, Yin Yuan Ming and Patriarch Lu sat opposite each other. Yin Yuan Ming made tea and smiled. "Patriarch Lu, why are you here in person?" Patriarch Lu said, "This patriarch is here to discuss something with Steward Yin face to face." Yin Yuan Ming raised his eyebrows and smiled. "Patriarch Lu, just say what you want to say." "All right then, I won't beat around the bush. I hope that in the future, all the herbs purchased by the Lu family in the treasure pavilion will be half price." Butler Lu said with a smile. "Half price." Yin Yuan Ming's eyes trembled, and a strong anger surged in his heart. Since the ban was lifted, the Lu family didn't restrain themselves. Instead, they took the opportunity to threaten the treasure pavilion. Qin Feiyong went missing, so no one provided the treasure pavilion with supreme-grade elixirs. And in the entire city, Only Murong Jing and Lu Xingchen were supreme-grade alchemists. Murong Jing never refined elixirs to outsiders. So now the treasure pavilion could only count on Lu Xingchen. Patriarch Lu saw this point and came to threaten the treasure pavilion. If they didn't give a discount, the Lu family would refuse to provide supreme-grade elixirs to the treasure pavilion. The treasure pavilion had no choice but to give them a 10% discount. But unexpectedly, the Lu family wasn't satisfied and still wanted half price. This was simply a loss-making business. Manager Yin, don't look so unhappy. Yu Zhanbao Pavilion asked for this. If you didn't ban the Lu family back then, I wouldn't be making things difficult for you now. There was a faint smile on Patriarch Lu's face, looking immensely pleased with himself. Butler Yin held back his anger and shook his head. Half price is impossible. At most, I'll give the Lu family a 15% discount. Patriarch Lu said, if I say half price, then it's half price. There's no room for negotiation. Don't go too far. Qin Die closed the door and stood beside Yin Yuanming, looking at the two people and the wolf in disbelief. Was this a dream? Qin Feiyong picked up the teacup and tasted it. He smiled faintly and said, there's no need to be so surprised when old friends meet. Yin Yuanming ignored him and whispered, Jie, pinch me and see if I'm seeing things. Is this okay? Qin Die was stunned. Hurry up! Yin Yuanming shouted. Qin Die reached out and pinched Yin Yuanming's arm hard. Gasp! Immediately. Yin Yuanming gasped in pain. But the pain was instantly replaced by ecstasy. It was not a dream. It was real. This bastard brat was back. He stepped in front of Qin Feiyong and was about to speak. But at this moment, Qin Die walked up and whispered a few words in his ear. Makes sense. Yin Yuanming nodded and quickly took out a Heaven's Eye stone. He said to Qin Feiyong, come and verify your identity. Puff. Qin Feiyong spat out the tea in his mouth and his face twitched. Qin Die said, young Master Qin, this is sudden. We have to confirm it. Please understand. All right. Qin Feiyong stood up and pressed his arm on the Heaven's Eye stone. A moment later, the Heaven's Eye stone did not move at all. Qin Feiyong did not change either. It was enough to prove that the person in front of him was really Qin Feiyong, who had been missing for 7 months. Brat, you're finally back. Where have you been fooling around for the past 6 months? Yin Yuanming was so excited that his body was trembling. Qin Die was the same. Chapter 407. Steward Yin, you're not young. You need to be steady. We won't be responsible if you die of exhaustion because of too much excitement. Fatso sneered. Get lost. I'm still young. How can I die of exhaustion? Don't curse me. Yin Yuanming's face darkened as he glared at Fatso. You're still young? Fatso was speechless. Yin Yuanming said, don't change the topic. Tell me, where have you been in the past few months? It's a long story. I'm afraid it won't be finished even after 10 days and nights. Are you sure you want us to tell you? Fatso grinned. Yin Yuanming and Qin Die looked at each other with a hint of surprise in their eyes. Qin Die said, by the way, steward, are we still going to find Murong Jing? Haha, is there a need? Yin Yuanming laughed heartily. Indeed, there's no need. Qin Die smiled and squatted beside the tea table to make tea. Yin Yuanming sat down beside Qin Feiyong and looked at the two men and the wolf. He said, since you can't finish in a short time, let's not talk about it. Okay, let's get back to business. Fatso nodded and asked, why did you lift the ban on the Lu family? I knew you would ask, but you can't blame me. Yin Yuanming sighed. If the ban was not lifted, the supreme grade pills would have been out of stock. For the treasure pavilion, it was absolutely intolerable to run out of stock. Qin Feiyong, who had been silent, finally put down the teacup. Let's not talk about the past. You said you were looking for Murong Jing. What's going on? Qin Feiyong asked. It's all because of the Lu family. Yin Yuanming immediately blew his beard and glared. Immediately. He recounted what had happened in detail. Fatso sneered. The Lu family is really arrogant. Yin Yuanming said, not only the Lu family, but the Zhang and Wang families are also colluding with the Lu family. Fatso asked suspiciously, Which Sheng family and Wang family? Yin Yuanming said, it's Zhang Chuan and Wang Fei's family. They still haven't been honest? Fatso frowned. When you were in the capital, they were very obedient. However, once he heard that you all had died outside, he immediately jumped up. Moreover, he told everyone he met that they deserved to die outside and that even death couldn't wipe out their crimes. Yin Yuanming said, then let's make them unable to jump. A cold light flashed in Fatso's eyes. Qin Feiyong shook his head and said, no, since they have not learned their lesson, let them disappear from the continent's capital. Qin Jie shuddered. Although the Wang clan and the Zhang clan couldn't be compared to the Lu clan, they were still considered famous first-rate clans. There were also many war emperors in the clan. Even Zhanbao Pavilion didn't dare to casually ask them to disappear. However, not only did that person mention it, he even spoke of it so casually. It was as if he was describing a very, very ordinary matter. This guy really hadn't changed at all. Domineering. Confidence. It made people feel fear from the bottom of their hearts. No. He was scarier than before. Now that Qin Feiyong was back, Yin Yuanming also felt more confident. He asked, what are your plans? What do you think? Qin Feiyong asked back. You brat. Can you not throw a problem at me every time? Yin Yuanming was a little angry. Obviously, this guy wanted him to make the decision first. Qin Feiyong smiled and said, of course, there must be sincerity in a cooperation. No matter what he did, he had to seize the initiative first. Nah. It wasn't that he needed Zhanbao Pavilion, but Zhanbao Pavilion needed him. He couldn't speak first. Of course. As long as Zhanbao Pavilion showed sincerity, he wouldn't be stingy. Yin Yuanming glared at him fiercely. After pondering for a while, Yin Yuanming made up his mind and turned to Qin Jie, saying, immediately give the order to ban the Lu clan, Dong clan, Zhang clan, and Wang clan. Ban the Dong clan too? Qin Jie was surprised. Ban them. Yin Yuanming nodded. Phew. Qin Jie took a deep breath, got up and left quickly. Yin Yuanming said, brat, are you satisfied with Zhanbao Pavilion's sincerity? Qin Feiyong took out a Xueqi yellow dragon pill and placed it on the tea table. He smiled and said, are you satisfied with my sincerity? What? This, how can there be so many pill patterns? Yin Yuanming stood up suddenly. His eyes filled with disbelief. This pill is called Xueqi Yellow Dragon Pill. It can help Battle King and Battle Emperor break through 5 small realms. Qin Feiyong smiled faintly. As soon as these words came out, Yin Yuanming was like a bolt from the blue. His body and mind trembled. Qin Feiyong said, this is for you as a gift for meeting again. But remember, don't tell anyone, and don't auction it. For me? Yin Yuanming was stunned and said in surprise, can it really break through 5 small realms? White-Eyed Wolf has personally tested it. Qin Feiyong laughed. Yin Yuanming looked at Wolf King, and Wolf King cooperated and released his aura. 5-star Battle Emperor. Yin Yuanming's eyes trembled, and the shock in his heart could no longer be described with words. Too shocking. This was too exciting. He put it away as if he had obtained a treasure. No. This was a treasure. If this pill were to spread, it would definitely cause a bloodbath in the spiritual state. Qin Feiyong stood up and smiled. As for the other pills, wait for me to return to the Holy Palace and I will immediately refine them for you. Yin Yuanming was stunned and hurriedly said, you're leaving just like that? Fatso chuckled and said, are you still planning to treat us to a drink? Yin Yuanming said, isn't that obvious? I haven't seen you for more than half a year. Of course I have to give you a welcoming party. Forget about the welcoming party. After all, I just came back, and there are still many things to deal with. Chapter 408. Wolf King said fiercely, let's go cripple that bastard right now. Do you know where he is? If it were up to me, we would just sit here and wait for him to deliver himself to us. Fatso laughed sinisterly. Wolf King said disdainfully, Teske, waiting for rabbits is not my character. I think you want to go out and behave atrociously. Fatso had a look of disdain on his face. Yeah. You damned fatty. Do you have to go against this big brother of yours? Do you believe that I won't beat you up? Wolf King stared at him unkindly. Aren't you guys annoying? Qin Feiyang glared at them angrily, and said, Fatso, hurry up and organize the treasures of the 4 great tribes. White-eyed Wolf, you go and help as well. Not going. Wolf King shook his head. It's not up to you to decide. Qin Feiyang waved his hand and sent the man and the wolf into the castle. Next. He looked at the pill furnace, the corner of his mouth raised slightly, and took out an illusory form pill, casually changing its appearance. Then he took out the clothes of a temple disciple, and after putting them on, he opened the stone door of the alchemy room and walked out. Who are you? Why are you in Senior Brother Lu's alchemy room? 2 young men were coincidentally in the corridor outside. Upon seeing Qin Feiyang, the 2 of them frowned and questioned. Qin Feiyang glanced at the 2 of them. The 2 of them looked very familiar. It was 2 of the 6th 9th level mental strength S. Qin Feiyang was puzzled. Isn't this Senior Brother Qin's alchemy room? When did it become Senior Brother Lu's? Senior Brother Qin? Are you talking about Qin Feiyang? The 2 of them were stunned. Qin Feiyang nodded. Haha, that little bastard died a long time ago. Are you a new disciple? Let me tell you, don't mention his name in front of us in the future. Otherwise, you will have to bear the consequences. The 2 of them sneered. A cold light flashed in Qin Feiyang's eyes as he said, All right, I will definitely not mention it again. May I know the names of the 2 senior martial brothers? Jia Gao. He Shan. We're both at the 9th level of spiritual power. Also, don't come up here without our permission in the future. The 2 of them spoke arrogantly with their nostrils pointing to the sky. Understood. Qin Feiyang nodded and walked past the 2 of them. Jia Gao. He Shan. He muttered to himself as he silently memorized these 2 names. A short while later, Qin Feiyang walked out of the Pill Fire Palace. Elder D and Elder Li were still guarding the 2 sides of the gate. Qin Feiyang smiled at the 2 of them. He then entered the plaza and walked towards a small path. The 2 of them were slightly stunned as they looked suspiciously at Qin Feiyang's back. When did this disciple come? Why don't I have any recollection of it? By the time they wanted to ask, Qin Feiyang had already entered the small path and disappeared from their sight. Qin Feiyang wanted to go to the martial arts practice field. The temple's great gathering was not over yet, so Lu Ziyuan should be at the martial stage. However, finding Lu Ziyuan was only secondary. What he really wanted to do was to use this opportunity to announce his, Qin Feiyang's, official return. On the way, Qin Feiyang encountered many temple's disciples, all discussing the temple's great gathering. He was not in a hurry, but silently listened to the discussions. Gradually, he got a general idea. The temple's great gathering was very complicated. The first step was the knockout round. The second step was to decide the top 500. The third step was to decide the top 100. The fourth step was the final battle, where the top 10 would fight for the champion's throne. Qin Feiyang shook his head. Such a troublesome competition, even if he was given a few billion, he would not be interested in participating. If he had the time, he might as well cultivate. Half an hour passed. He finally arrived at the martial stage. The martial stage was very large, occupying an area of several thousand feet. There was a sea of people all around, and the noise was incessant. On the left edge of the martial stage, there were 5 seats. 2 men and 2 women were sitting on them. 2 of them were Lu Yun and Shi Ming. Qin Feiyang stood at the back of the crowd, with a trace of doubt in his eyes. Lu Yun and Shi Ming were the temple's enforcement elders, so it was reasonable for them to sit there. But what qualifications did the other man and woman have to sit beside them? He looked at the woman. The woman looked very young, about 24 or 25 years old. She was wearing a purple dress, and was rather tall. Her skin was as white as snow, and there was a beauty mole between her eyebrows. But the aura she exuded was not very strong, at most a 5-star or 6-star war emperor. Compared to Lu Yun and Shi Ming, she could not be compared at all. Qin Feiyang's gaze turned, and looked at the man again. The man was also very young. He wore a fitting purple robe, and his eyebrows were like swords. His temperament was quite extraordinary. The man and woman's demeanors were somewhat old. Their eyes were also filled with a kind of contempt and arrogance. Why does he look a little familiar? Qin Feiyang looked at the purple-clothed youth with a trace of doubt in his eyes. He was sure that he had seen this person somewhere before, but he could not recall where. Bam! Bam, bam, bam. On the stage, two temple disciples were fighting. They both had the strength of a 5-star war monarch. The two of them used their own methods, and it was difficult to tell who was the winner. It was quite interesting. Qin Feiyong watched for a while, then shifted his gaze to the other side. There stood a middle-aged man. He looked at the entire audience with a serious face, and there was a great sense of majesty. Qin Feiyong's face revealed a trace of a smile. Because this person was Yan Nanshan. Qin Feiyong squeezed into the crowd. There were too many people, and they were almost touching each other. By the time he squeezed to the first row, his body was drenched in sweat. Suddenly, he looked to the right. There was a group of young men and women with outstanding temperaments. There were a total of more than 20 people. They were like cranes in a flock of chickens, and they were extremely dazzling. The temple disciples behind them did not dare to get close to them, and there was a trace of obvious fear in their eyes. Lu Ziyuan, Xiao Hong, Dong Cheng, Dongfang Yu, Xiao Jian, and the other 4 young men and women with level 9 mind power were among them. As for the others, Qin Feiyong was unfamiliar with them. Accompanied by a scream, the battle on the stage was finally decided. The person who lost left the stage dejectedly. The person who won had a smile on his face. However, when he looked at Lu Ziyuan and the others, his expression suddenly dimmed. What's the use of winning now? Sooner or later, we will be defeated by those monsters. That person shook his head and sighed, then left the martial arts arena as well. Next round, Lu Ziyuan and Zhang Ren, please enter the martial arts arena immediately. Yan Nanshan shouted. Dong Cheng smiled and said, Senior brother Lu, it's your turn. You must perform well. Is there a need? With senior brother Lu's current strength, he can finish Zhang Ren in a few moves. Xiao Hong had a look of disdain. An ant will be an ant after all. Lu Ziyuan smiled contemptuously and jumped up. With a suave turn, he landed on the martial arts arena. So handsome. Senior brother Lu not only has an extraordinary talent in alchemy, but his martial arts talent is also not inferior to anyone. Most importantly, he has a family background. How great would it be if I could marry him? The surrounding disciples all looked at him with admiration. Some of the girls were even more exaggerated. They could not wait to run up and offer themselves to him. There was a girl behind Qin Feiyong. She looked at Lu Ziyuan with infatuation, and her saliva was about to flow out. Qin Feiyong turned to look at her and said speechlessly, Is it that exaggerated? What do you know? A little tramp like you will never be able to compare to senior brother Lu. The girl glared at him fiercely. Qin Feiyong was stunned. He then shook his head and did not argue with the girl. At this moment, another short young man in black walked up to the martial arts arena hesitantly. There was a deep fear in his eyes as he looked at Lu Ziyuan. Lu Ziyuan smiled disdainfully and said impatiently, Zhang Ren, hurry up. Don't waste my time. The black-clothed youth's body trembled, and he almost fell to the ground. Is there a need to be so afraid? Qin Feiyong raised his eyebrows. Although the young man in black was small, his strength was not bad. He was a 5-star battle monarch. If he dared to fight with his life on the line, it was not as if he had no chance of winning. Because Lu Ziyuan was only a 7-star battle monarch. Lu Ziyuan became more and more impatient. He waved his hand and said, Just admit defeat and stop competing. I really don't understand. Why would a piece of trash like you participate in the competition? Isn't it a waste of a spot? He added. His eyes were full of disdain. The surrounding crowd also roared with laughter. After being humiliated repeatedly, Zhang Ren could not help but clench his fists tightly. Especially when he heard the laughter around him, it made him extremely ashamed and angry. All of a sudden, he looked up at Lu Ziyuan and roared, What are you so arrogant for? If Qin Feiyong was still here, I'm afraid you wouldn't even have the chance to participate in the competition. As soon as the 3 words Qin Feiyong appeared, the entire place fell into a dead silence. Everyone's face was solemn. Even their breathing became heavy. Qin Feiyong. He was a legend. Unfortunately, the legend has fallen. The girl behind Qin Feiyong sighed. Qin Feiyong was stunned. He turned to look at the girl and asked curiously, You know Qin Feiyong too? Of course. I'm not the only one who knows him. Everyone in the city knows him. No. His name is already famous in the spiritual state. Everyone knows him. Unfortunately, the heavens are jealous of his talent. He died young. The girl shook her head. Just as she finished speaking, she frowned again. You don't know Qin Feiyang? You're really ignorant. The girl's face was full of disdain. Qin Feiyang shook his head and smiled bitterly. He turned to look at Lu Ziyuan. At this moment, Lu Ziyuan's face was so gloomy that it was about to drip water. He stared at Zhang Ren and said word by word, I dare you to say it again. Am I wrong? When Qin Feiyang was still here, you were like a mouse that saw a cat. Now that Qin Feiyang is gone, you're arrogant and domineering. Have you heard of this saying? When the tiger is gone, the monkey will be king. It's talking about you. Zhang Ren mocked. You're courting death. Lu Ziyuan's killing intent rose. Zhang Ren smiled coldly and looked at Yan Nanshan. He bowed and said, Elder, I admit defeat. When he said those words, he did not intend to fight with Lu Ziyuan. His goal was to make Lu Ziyuan mad and humiliate him in public. At the same time, he could vent the anger in his heart. Yes. Yan Nanshan nodded and shouted, Lu Ziyuan, Zhang Ren has admitted defeat. You're not allowed to attack again. However, Lu Ziyuan turned a deaf ear. Bang! A gush of aura roared out of his body. Bang! He landed in front of Zhang Ren at lightning speed and sent Zhang Ren flying with a punch. 8-star Combat King? Qin Feiyang was shocked. It turned out that Lu Ziyuan had broken through. No wonder he was so arrogant. Chapter 409. Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed. He jumped up and landed on the martial arts practice field. Everyone was stunned. Whoosh! Qin Feiyang ignored him. With another dive, he rushed to the bottom of Zhang Ren like lightning. There was a loud bang. He stepped on the ground and jumped more than 10 meters high. His large hand shot out and grabbed Zhang Ren's arm. Then, he landed on the ground steadily. However, when he laid Zhang Ren flat on the ground, he found that Zhang Ren was dead. Lu Ziyuan's punch landed on Zhang Ren's chest. Not only was his chest caved in, but his heart was also broken. His attack was really vicious. At the same time, Lu Ziyuan saw that Zhang Ren was dead. Not only was he not apologetic, he even smirked. Then he looked at Qin Feiyang with cold eyes. How dare he interfere in his business? Was he courting death? Whoosh! At this moment, another young man in white rushed to the martial arts practice field and ran to Zhang Ren's side. He asked with concern, Brother, are you okay? Zhang Jin? Qin Feiyang was stunned. The person who came was the staff of the resource hall. Qin Feiyang looked at Zhang Ren and asked, He's your brother? Zhang Jin nodded. Yes, my dear brother. Thank you. Qin Feiyang sighed. Don't thank me. Your brother is dead. What? Zhang Jin's face changed. He quickly squatted on the ground to check on Zhang Ren. Sure enough, he could no longer feel Zhang Ren's heartbeat and breathing. Why? Zhang Jin muttered to himself. His face was pale. His 10 fingers were tightly clenched together. His nails had already sunk into his flesh and blood was flowing. He suddenly turned around, stared at Lu Ziyuan and shouted, My brother has already admitted defeat. Why did you kill him, trash? Lu Ziyuan was disdainful. He turned around and walked down the stage with a cold face. Zhang Jin stared at Lu Ziyuan's back. He wanted to pounce and die together with Lu Ziyuan to avenge his brother. But his rationality told him that he could not do that. Because he knew that he was not Lu Ziyuan's opponent. He could not afford to offend Lu Ziyuan. But he was unwilling. Plop. He knelt on the ground and looked helplessly at Yan Nanshan. He repeatedly kowtowed and said, Elder, I beg you, please uphold justice. Some of the disciples below the stage couldn't help but whisper among themselves. Lu Ziyuan had indeed gone too far this time. But who dared to say anything? Furthermore, there was also a portion of the crowd that was cheering loudly. These people were all Lu Ziyuan's admirers. In their opinion, Zhang Ren deserved it. Otherwise, would Lu Ziyuan kill him for his provocation? Who was to blame for courting death? Elder, I beg you, don't let my big brother die in vain. Zhang Jin was still kowtowing. His forehead was already bleeding, and blood stained the floor. Yan Nanshan's eyes flickered as he turned to look at Lu Ziyuan. Stop right there. What's up? But Lu Ziyuan was clearly killing someone on purpose. Lu Xingchen, you should know your place. The inner hall sent you here to set a good example so that everyone can learn from you. It's not for you to play favoritism and cover up for your clansmen. Yan Nanshan shouted sternly. Lu Xingchen. Qin Feiyang's eyes lit up. That's right. This person was Lu Xingchen. He had seen him when Ran Wushuang was communicating with him in the county of Yan. But it had been too long and he couldn't remember clearly. Now that Yan Nanshan reminded him, he immediately remembered. Why was Lu Ziyuan so confident today? It was because he was here. But what surprised Qin Feiyang was that anyone else would have fallen out with Yan Nanshan on the spot after being reprimanded so harshly by him. However, Lu Xingchen did not show the slightest bit of displeasure. This showed that he was a very shrewd person. Elder Yan, you're right. I was out of line just now. How about this? Dong Qing, Elder Lu, Elder Shi and I will vote to decide whether Lu Ziyuan stays or goes. Elder Yan, you don't have any objections, right? Lu Xingchen cupped his hands and smiled. Okay. Yan Nanshan nodded. Although he was the one presiding over this temple's great gathering, the real authority was with Lu Yun and Shi Ming. Lu Xingchen smiled at Yan Nanshan, then turned to Lu Yun and the other two. Let's vote. Those who agree to disqualifying Lu Ziyuan, please raise your hand. I agree. Lu Yun was the first to raise her hand, her face covered in frost. Although Lu Xingchen was a member of the inner sanctum, he was far inferior to Lu Yun in terms of seniority and strength. More importantly, this wasn't the inner sanctum. Lu Xingchen's actions were tantamount to usurping the role of the host. He didn't even put her, the disciplinary elder, in his eyes. Lu Xingchen was still smiling as he looked at Shi Ming and the purple-clothed woman. Shi Ming pondered for a while, then sighed. Everyone makes mistakes. Let Lu Ziyuan continue participating. Lu Yun frowned and looked at Shi Ming with dissatisfaction. Shi Ming pretended not to see. The purple-clothed woman nodded. I also agree that Lu Ziyuan should continue participating. Lu Xingchen looked at Yan Nanshan again and smiled faintly. Elder Yan, I also agree that he should continue participating. I'm not shielding him. I just don't want to waste such a good talent. To be fair, Lu Ziyuan's talent is really not bad. Now, Dong Qing, Elder Shi, and I all agree that the minority should take the majority. You don't have any objections, right? Lu Xingchen added with a smile on his face. Lu Ziyuan was even more pleased with himself as he looked at Yan Nanshan with disdain. A good competition has been messed up by a few scoundrels. I think there's no need to continue this competition. Lu Yun suddenly stood up and glanced at Lu Xingchen and the others in disgust, then prepared to leave. Pa! But at this moment, the sound of a loud slap could be heard. Qin Feiyang, who had been watching coldly from the sidelines, finally spoke. What Elder Lu said is right. Since when did a scoundrel have the right to criticize the dignified divine sanctum? The divine sanctum is the holy land of cultivation that everyone dreams of. But now it can't even be fair? Don't you all think that this is a very laughable matter? Qin Feiyang glanced at the crowd in all directions, his eyes full of disdain for the divine sanctum. And at this moment, everyone's eyes were gathered on Qin Feiyang. Some were angry. Some mocked. Some agreed with Qin Feiyang's words. Shi Ming frowned and shouted, How dare you? Do you have the right to speak here? Get out of here right now. What? I can't even speak? Elder Shi, you're the law enforcement elder of the divine sanctum. If you curry favor and side with Lu Ziyuan, the other disciples will be disappointed. Compared to Elder Lu, you're really too weak. Qin Feiyang shook his head and sneered. As if someone stepped on his tail, Shi Ming jumped up and shouted, I told you to get out of here. Didn't you hear me? Lu Yun sneered, Old dog Shi, since you dare to do it, don't be afraid of others talking about it. Shi Ming turned his gaze and stared at Lu Yun. He said coldly, Bitch, what did you say? Aren't you just trying to curry favor with the Lu family? Actually, it's understandable. After all, apart from Murong Jing, Lu Xingchen is the only supreme-grade alchemist in the spiritual state. However, there's no need to go through so much trouble. I'll tell you the most direct and effective way. Resign as the law enforcement elder and leave the divine sanctum. With your strength, the Lu family will definitely take you in. I also heard that the Lu family is now lacking a watchdog. Chapter 4:10. Well scolded. Qin Feiyang laughed. Lu Yun's scolding was quite good. Not only did she scold Shiming, but she also implicated the Lu family and Lu Xingchen. It was simply too satisfying. Although this woman wasn't easy to get along with, she had a good personality. People liked her more and more. The entire place was silent. Only Qin Feiyang's laughter and Lu Yun's scolding echoed in the air for a long time. Everyone looked at Lu Yun before shifting their gaze to Qin Feiyang. Their faces were filled with disbelief. What's wrong with this person? Doesn't he know the identity of Lu Xingchen and Shiming? Lu Yun dared to scold them because she was the law-enforcing elder. Her strength wasn't weaker than anyone. However, this person was just a disciple. How dare he be so arrogant? Who gave him such courage? Looking at Shiming again. His face was green and red. It was extremely ugly. He knew that it was unfair to let Lu Ziyuan continue participating. He also knew that Lu Yun would definitely be dissatisfied with him. However, he never expected that Lu Yun would scold him in public. Moreover, she scolded him so viciously. She actually said that he was a dog of the Lu family. In front of everyone and thousands of disciples. How was he going to face others in the future? However, he didn't dare to vent his anger on Lu Yun. Because Lu Yun's strength was much stronger than his. So, Qin Feiyang had undoubtedly become his target to vent his anger on. You deserve to be killed for offending your superior. He suddenly turned his head and stared at Qin Feiyang. His eyes flashed with intense killing intent. He is a disciple of my pill hall. Don't you dare touch him. Lu Yun shouted. Actually, she didn't know Qin Feiyang at all. She only saw that Qin Feiyang was wearing a white robe. In addition, she admired Qin Feiyang's previous performance and came forward to protect him. Shiming's eyes darkened. The anger in his heart couldn't be restrained. This damned woman, did she have to refute him in front of everyone? Seeing this, Lu Xingchen's expression also changed slightly. But it wasn't obvious. In fact, even if one were to observe carefully, they would not be able to notice it. However, the viciousness and killing intent that Lu Ziyuan exuded was not concealed at all. He raised his arm and pointed at Qin Feiyang like an old man. He sneered and said, "You dare to fight me?" Qin Feiyang was stunned. He turned his head and looked at Lu Ziyuan playfully. I'm not interested in this kind of game. Unless this battle is a life-and-death battle. Lu Ziyuan's pupils contracted. Suck. The surrounding crowd sucked in a breath of cold air. Regardless of life and death, it was a battle of life and death. Who the hell is this guy? Judging from his tone, he seems very confident. But why haven't I seen him in the previous matches? Everyone was puzzled. Dong Fengyu asked, Dong Cheng, is he a disciple from your side? Never seen him before. The falcon was more than 100 feet long, and its whole body was ferocious. The pair of huge sharp claws flickered with a shocking cold light, grabbing towards Qin Feiyang's head. Qin Feiyang looked up and pointed his index finger in the air. A wave of sword aura gushed out from the tip of his finger. In an instant, a red flaming sword shadow condensed. Slash! Qin Feiyang waved his hand, and the flaming sword shadow slashed through the air, cutting the falcon in half. At the same time, he took a step forward and sent out another slap. Lu Ziyuan let out a wail as his entire body flew out. His face was swollen like a pig's head. As a disciple of the sacred palace, you disrespected an elder. You deserve to be slapped. So, this slap is for Elder Yan. Qin Feiyang said indifferently. Yan Nanshan was stunned, and his eyes suddenly lit up. That's right. This kid must be Qin Feiyang. In fact, Qin Feiyang was also hinting at Yan Nanshan. Obviously, Yan Nanshan understood. How can this be? Senior brother Lu is an 8-star battle monarch. Why can't he resist at all? Is he really that strong? The people below the stage were extremely incredulous. Shiming, Lu Xingchen, and Dong Qing also frowned. This is strange. Lu Yun was full of doubts. Why did he slap Lu Ziyuan twice on behalf of Yan Nanshan? Suddenly, her eyes lit up, and she looked up at Yan Nanshan. Yan Nanshan nodded at her. Brat. Lu Yun immediately cursed inwardly, but a faint smile appeared in his eyes. Lu Ziyuan, what are you doing? You can't even deal with a piece of trash like him? Xiao Hong and Dong Qing shouted below the stage. Shut up, all of you. Lu Ziyuan shouted and climbed up in a sorry state, staring at Qin Feiyong. You have completely angered me. Eagle soars the sky. He roared and waved his hand. His battle aura turned into a dazzling waterfall and went against the flow. Chirp. A falcon that was 50 to 60 feet long appeared in the sky in an instant. When it spread its wings, it covered the sky. The falcon's black eyes emitted a sinister light. You're tuning in to the Xueqi's Martial Arts Saga YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.